Welcome back to the Gnostic Informant, and you are about to attain true gnosis.
Welcome to MythVision. Neal, you had an idea, and I said, let's jump on it, man.
Yeah, man. Talk about because people think, they seem to have this idea that Yahweh was this, like, he's always been this one monadic, perfect, outside of space and time, like Plato's God, all the way back to the Bronze Age. And everyone knows this. Everyone's always known the Hebrews were different and had the true God. All the pagans always knew this. And were jealous, and then they eventually caught on and said, "You're right. We're gonna drop our ancestral customs because bow down to you Hebrews. You guys, from the start, you've always been right. Even though you guys keep getting sacked by the Babylonians and the Assyrians and the Egyptians and the Greeks and the Romans, you're still we could tell you guys have the truth and the true God. We could tell because you guys were sinners, and that's why he punished you and let us take over your stuff. He didn't do that to us, but he did it to you. Anyways, you get the point."
Yeah, of course. No, as if like what is thought even about this deity today is what goes back to what it originally was understood in the ancient texts. And I think you and I are going to be pointing out some of the obvious stuff. I mean, like when I say obvious, I mean if you opened any book, any ancient book, and you read about that god, nobody would like bend over backwards to try and make up excuses, anthropomorphisms to like defend that deity and make it, oh no, it's spiritual the whole time. It never was a body. There was never a god with like actual hands and a big old ding dong. Like, no,
Yeah. And when you go back far enough, Yahweh is depicted like any other Bronze Age, because I'm saying Bronze Age because he does show up in the Bronze Age, not as an Israelite god though, which is weird because you're like, what is he? Now, but when he even in his Israelite form, early Israelite form, you still get images of Yahweh where he has horns and a big dangling hanging down. And we could show that one. That's from the Kuntalit Arjrod.
Yeah, Kuntalit Arjrod is the way I pronounce it.
Kuntalit Arjrod. Yeah, I don't know.
I notice you'll say words that I say completely different. We know.
Yeah, but I could be wrong about this. I don't know the exact pronunciation, anglicized. Because it is a Hebrew word, so it's not like
Yeah. Are you pulling?
Anyways, yeah. Can you see this?
Yes.
So I can zoom in a little bit. There we go.
Yeah.
That's Yahweh, and that's his Asherah.
Mm-hmm.
You can see she's a female, right? You can see he's a male.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what this is. It looks like someone playing a lyre. So a bard, possibly. Yeah. I don't know what that is. But you have Hebrew words. And that's Hebrew, by the way. That is literally Hebrew. Some people would think Hebrew didn't exist. This is Hebrew. Right here. It's Hebrew. And it says Yahweh of Samaria and his Asherah. Something, you can see. You can see Yahweh right there. Yod, Hey. You see my mouse?
Yep.
That's a Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can't really see what's there, but it looks like Asherah. I think I could see Asherah right there. But that's hard to tell. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, you can definitely see Yahweh. It's very clear right there. It's Yahweh.
That's Yahweh and his Asherah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And what is that little cow doing to that big cow? Whoever drew this, the udder should be moved forward a little bit there. This getting a little too close to the.
And by the way, that's a lamed. That's a lamed. That means two. So two Yahweh. You can see two Yahweh as clear as day. And it even says, I believe there's going to be a description here, 8th century BC, 700s BC. And where's the translation?
There should be one.
Yeah, usually there's a translation. Oh, here, maybe right here. No, that's not it. That's interesting. It's probably on the net. It's probably if I go back. Probably if I go back, it'll say. Wait, where is it? Oh, right here. I bless you by Yahweh I bless you by Yahweh of Samaria and his Asherah. So Anyways.
Bless this person who super chatted. I think you accidentally put me full screen.
9 cents super chat. Thank you for being here on Sun Emoji Day.
Holy Sunday, Sol Invictus.
Absolutely.
That's funny. That's one of those things that the Romans were like, you know, it is true that we should keep the Sabbath. You know, Yahweh did say the Sabbath is always should be kept. It's one of the most repeated laws in the Torah is the Sabbath shall be kept. Saturday is the Sabbath. And the Romans were like, nah, we like Sunday better. We're Romans. We're gonna change it up. Anyways, he was resurrected on this day, so why not? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what's really wild? You brought up the Cantillina Druid. If we went a little north, let me share my screen.
Yeah.
By the way, we're gonna get this intro tweaked for me and Neil. So when we go live, you, me, and Jacob, whoever really, we have a generic intro. Oops, I gotta drop yours. We have to have a generic intro that works good. So the Ain Dara temple, which is in Syria, we can see the map on the right here, north of Israel, right? Yeah. I love this temple just for the simple fact that whoever freaking built this, and you can see all sorts of iconography that is resemblance to stuff we would hear in Solomon's temple and various things. There's a massive ass footprint. Okay. This and whoever made this is imagining the deity walking literally into the temple. There's another construction kind of an outline, and there's various art from the place. But the footprint, man, that footprint always gets me. And it reminds me of this Jacob wrestling god. Notice all the art, most of the art butchers it. They give him wings. It's all cool, but that's not biblical. He doesn't rock wings. He's an ish. He looks like a man. But we know he's a god. We know it's God. He wrestles another man. And of course, it's God who pops his hip out. You know what I'm saying? So are we going to say that's a metaphor? He got a metaphorical hip dislocation by God? I mean, how silly do we have to be, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. But yeah, so you find the farther back you go, you find Yahweh is part of the pantheon. He's part of a polytheistic tradition. He's not. He's even synced with Khnum, I believe, in Elephantine, or compared with him. Not like he competes with them. There's two different priesthoods. I'm not saying it's the same priesthood, but he takes on the traits of Khnum as the demiurgic creator of the pantheon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And isn't he married to, in the Elephantine context, he's married to
a god, Anat Yahu, which is, it's Yahweh in like a female form synced with Anat. So that's another interesting thing. It's like you can see how that's a very polytheistic. Let me see if I can share my screen. That's a very polytheistic framework going on. And this is, when I'm talking about here, this isn't Bronze Age. This is not even Iron Age anymore. We're almost into the classical period now. We are in the classical period now when they're in Elephantine. We're talking 6th, 5th century BCE.
Mm-hmm.
So 500s, 400s BCE. And you have, let me see if I can do a word search for Yahoo. Yeah, see? Anat Yahu. It says right here, Susan Ackerman, the current majority view is that Anat Yahu should be understood as a hypostasis of Yahu or Yahweh. Like, whoa, and we're talking 400s, 500s BC. We're getting close to Judaism period. We're getting, I mean, like we still have a little ways to go, but we're getting close to the time of the writing of the scriptures now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's crazy. That's very late in the game, dude. You know?
For sure. By the way, let the super chatter speak.
Okay.
Let's hear the
At Anatha Cynical Brit 6,451 dropped £10 super chat. My kind of topic.
Me too.
Thank you for the £10. Appreciate you.
The other super chat we didn't get it. Victor Engelman, thank you.
Oh, so much.
You're good. Yeah. You're good. Damn, Yahweh is hung.
Let me pull that back up one more time just to show people. Yes, that is, and this is this is actually not that rare that people would depict their gods with giant phalluses to show how powerful they were.
No doubt.
That was,
that is down there in that, Cantillida Druid is kind of in the region where the Exodus supposedly took place. Of course, the geographic, it's in the geographic territory. Yeah, pull up the map.
Sinai Peninsula.
Yeah, exactly. And
this is where the Shasu nomads were.
We pull that one up. My God, we gotta show people where their daddy's from. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Let's go back to the oldest. What's the first time Yahweh is ever mentioned? And it's by these people, these Semitic-speaking pastoral nomads. They're not Israelites. They dwelt in tents. By the way, you can see whoever wrote Exodus seems to have knowledge of their roots being nomadic dwellers of the Midianite Sinai region, because they were correct. Like, this is really where Yahweh comes from.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at what you got going on, bro.
What?
Bakken dropping 5 memberships.
I don't even have a sound for that one.
That's odd, because you used to.
There it goes. You have become initiated.
You are now joined.
You have been anointed.
How does it feel to be part of the cult? Oh, we got one on our side. Look, I got to figure out one of these fancy smancy music things. What I'll just do
is gifts for everybody. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Literally, Bakken. Oh, by the way, Bakken's got a YouTube channel now, Neal. Is it? Hold on, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm just, because the music's going. I don't want to bother you.
Is that music from mine?
No, it's for my memberships that are going to. There's going to be 5 of them.
Oh, cool. That's cool. I got to start playing music on mine.
You got to get you. By the way, you can adjust your coloring. You can't do that with StreamYard. But if you start doing what I'm doing, you can look how better my picture looks now.
You look kind of like Yahweh, bro.
Look like Yahweh. Hung.
Look at you.
Ready to go.
Hung. No, but thank you, Bakken. Everybody, you're going to have to subscribe to Bakken's YouTube channel. He's trying to grow a channel. He wants to do content. He's into this kind of stuff as well.
Pull it up for him?
Yeah, Bakken, tell us in the chat exactly which one, because I don't know if it's under this name. We got to give a shameless plug. This is a great way. You're muted. You're muted, bro.
Yeah, I said tell him to put it in the chat, but I also can find it either way. I have it right here.
Okay.
So here it is right here. And let me share my
It
screen.
is under his name.
Boom. Right here.
Subscribe. Desposunai Dynasty.
It's got tons of videos out already. So
yeah,
let's click on the one that has 115 views to see what's popping over here.
Let's go.
I got passages, false pericopes, that the Essenes asserted that inserted animal sacrifice into the Torah itself.
Wow.
That is the crux of the new covenant. See the next.
All right. Dude.
Yeah, go support Bakken.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go, guys. I love it.
You want to be a Bacchus supporter, you got to support Bakken.
You want to be initiated into the bapti, the Corinthian bapti.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dude, okay, more God's body stuff, Neal. We got to talk
Let's go to the Shasu, bro.
Let's do it.
So, as we pointed out, and you just pointed out, I forgot about that Kuntalit Ajrad is in the same general region. It does say here, organized clans ruled by tribal chieftain were described as brigands active from the Jezreel Valley to Ashkelon. So this is all over Israel, these people. But they were not the city dwellers. They were not the ones in charge. They're not the kings of Israel. They're not from David or Omri's line. They're not royal. They're actually poor outsiders who people look at as pirates, basically. But this is where Yahweh comes from. They actually import it from these people. So shashash means to plunder. They call them plunderers. Or wanderers is another way to describe it. The point is, they are not the local people. They are the outsiders that are coming to kill. They're like the Vikings of Israel. You know what I mean? And this, yeah, dude, isn't that crazy? This is the people who brought Yahweh. And I even have a theory that I'll throw out in a second. By the way, someone points out that they were eclipsed by the sea peoples, which is interesting. Here's this inscription. Oh, by the way, here's an Egyptian inscription that mentions the Egyptians defeating these Shasu people. There are some people, I looked into this because I'm writing a chapter in my book about this, and I wanted to make sure I got up to date with the scholarship here. And there are a few scholars who think that they could be the descendants of the Hyksos, but the only way that would be the case is that after the Hyksos expulsion, members of the Hyksos dynasty would have had to have gotten kicked out of Egypt and dwelled in the Sinai region. We're not talking millions of people exiting, but it's possible. It's possible that Josephus and Berosus could be correct that the story, the myth of the Exodus has a historical kernel of truth going on between Hyksos, Shasu, and then later Israelites.
Yeah,
that's a minority view. What I just said, that's not a consensus view. There's a few academics who posit this, but it's speculation. So I just thought it was interesting to put in my book to say, look, there's a possibility the Exodus could be based on something real. It's just that the whole idea of the story itself is all made up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But these people do worship Yahweh, and the Hyksos did not worship Yahweh. So that's odd off the bat. And I point this out. I said, that means that at some point, either they invented Yahweh after the Hyksos period, because we have tons of Hyksos text. They never mention Yahweh. They worship Set mostly and Baal. So you have Set, who they equate with Baal, the Lord. So they do, and they by the way, that's their main god, but they also worship the Osiris and Isis and all the regular gods too. They're just like regular polytheists, the Hyksos. They're not monotheist.
Right.
Now, at some point, these West Semitic nomads called the Shasu start worshiping Yahweh. And this is the inscription right here. Shu Yahweh. So Yah-O right there. You can see that's the Yah-Ha-O, Yahoo, right there. And then this is like a sound. So Yahuwah. That's what that would be. So this is 14th century BCE, and it's found in a temple dedicated to the god Amun, by the way, not dedicated to, but it's mentioning these people who worship Yahweh in the temple of Amun, saying these are outsiders, and it's dated to the 1350 BCE, and it's in Sudan. And guess what? There's another one in the 13th century, 1200s BCE, that mentions them again, and it's almost identical. It's almost identical to text. She calls them once again. It says the Shasu of Yahweh. Same exact text, almost like some scribe copied it from the other temple. And it's also in Sudan.
Wild. It's like South Egypt, like
Africa.
Southern Egypt. Yeah, Africa.
And it's interesting because Semitic languages are from the Afro-Asiatic branch of languages. So this is sort of, there is an African root to Judaism that's taking place here.
Victor Engelman dropping a super chat. Thank you, Victor. Says King, I think is that an Yahweh of Kish?
Yahweh of Kish, possibly a Theophoric name. I don't know. I never heard of that. I was going to get into this. I was going to get into possible. What I was just going to say next is, where did the Midianites or Shasu people invent Yahweh in the desert just randomly, or do they import it from somewhere?
Right.
There's a couple of theories. Gad Barnea thinks it came from the north because of what Victor's pointing out. Theophoric names in Hittite sources, a few of them, that have people with names that look like they have Theophoric Yah in them.
Right.
So there's a Yahweh god in the Hittite region. And this is even more interesting is you look at the Ionians. The Ionians, watch this. Now, the Ionians they're not descended directly from the Hittites, but indirectly They are related. They're both from Asia Minor. A lot of the Hittite culture is adopted by Western Turkey. They are mostly they're more Greek than anything else. They're like they're Greeks, but they're on the coast of Asia Minor. They're right. You can see this is, I don't know what map this is, but you can see right here. These are where the Ionians are. So this is where the Hittites would be over here, and then the Ionians are over here. And the reason why I bring that up is because if Gad is correct, I think another possibility is the name Yahweh, or the name of the Ionians in Greek is Yah right here, and that's a w. That's a digamma. Yahweh-ness. And it's, guess what? It's an epithet of Apollo. So the people are called, the Ionians are literally devotees of Yahweh.
Right.
So this could be an older Hittite version of Apollo from Asia Minor that's just being worshipped, not like a major god, maybe a minor god at first, and at some point. And by the way, here's where I tie it all together: the Midianite pottery, the Sinai pottery, and the Philistine pottery shows heavy Aegean pottery. Yep. Aegean and northern pottery. They were borrowing and trading with the people in the north and the Aegean. There's a possibility that these Shasu nomads adopted Yahweh from Asia Minor.
This is the struggle I had when I made one of my documentaries about the origin of Yahweh. Like, where does he come from? And there's obviously, you and I have studied Nisam Amzalog, and Amzalog argues. Can you go back to that map that takes us to the Sinai Peninsula, just to kind of give an idea? Like, if we can get a decent map, just to look at the bottom right where the sea meets, where the Midianite territory would be. There were
Sinai Peninsula. Yeah.
Let's pull that up here. And thanks so much, Victor.
Right here. Is this a good map?
Yeah. All right. So scroll to the bottom right at the tip of that, the water source at the right, up at the top Saudi Arabia. Yeah, it gets cut off a little bit.
Do you want me to get Google Earth here?
Yeah, get Google Earth. Yeah, that'd be way better quality.
Okay. All right. Google Earth will be way better. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll pull up Nisam Amzalog has some images too that are really badass. Nisam Amzalog. And this is, I don't know what to do, just like you don't know what to do. I'm just like, I just, both are possible, like you just described. But there's a lot of fire language in the biblical story pertaining to Moses. They're melting down gold to create golden idols. There's obvious metallurgy going on. And you did a video on this metallurgical stuff as well.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull it up. I don't know what's going on. My Google Earth is glitching out right now. Hold on, let me just refresh this. Try? No, I got it. I just want to make sure I don't have a glitch. The hell is going on? Hold on 1 second. I got it. New map. Okay.
You are fine.
Okay, let me share my screen. So we're going to Sinai.
Yep, we're going to Sinai. We're gonna check out. We're gonna go all over. We're going to the Aegean. We're gonna go to Egypt. We're going to Sinai. We got to go all over, bro. We can't just stay in one spot. This is too important.
Yeah.
So let's zoom in over here. Okay.
Well, way too much.
It's all good. It's all good. There's the Dead Sea.
So we're looking at this.
Okay, so zoom in, to the right of that Sinai Peninsula, right at the tip of that water there. Yeah.
You want to turn on the roads and stuff too, or
the what?
Like roads and all that stuff, or no?
I don't think we need roads.
Okay.
Yeah,
names and all that stuff. No.
Pretend we're in the ancient world. So go a little further in though. Let's try to imagine about 15, 20 miles from that water source north, right? Somewhere where you see that orange that's going on, right? That location, Nisam Amzalog and others have noticed there's been a lot of archaeological evidence to suggest that there has been a metallurgical trade mining situation in this territory for 5,000 or 6,000 years. Humans have been mining for copper. I can't remember if it's copper or if it's iron, but I think it's copper.
You know why this is such a big deal to me and what I'm putting together is because this gives us a reason why the Aegeans would be trading with people from this region. Because why would you randomly find a god from the north you find theophoric names of Yah and even theophoric names of places, the Ionians, Yahweh-ness. Why would you find that all the way up there and then all of a sudden people all the way down here just randomly start worshiping this god? And it gives you reason to doubt my theory. But if they're mining for copper and tin or whatever metals, then this makes sense that the Aegean would be trading with them, and then they would be trading back and forth. Here, we got good pottery, the best pottery around, because the Aegean pottery was the best around at that time period. That's why everyone has Aegean pottery. Yeah, we'll trade you our metal for your pottery. Boom, and then you can see, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're adopting names of gods and are worshiping different gods. Makes a lot of sense.
It does. And the trade route that they actually can trace the metal from this area goes all the way to the Aegean. And so this is why
Can you pull this report up? You have it?
I actually have it in my documentary. And those are always fun too. We can listen if you want.
Yeah, can you pull? I want to see just that part of the documentary if you can. And I'll read the super chat while you pull it up.
I will pull up here, actually, my intro, dude. Can I just show the intro first before we do that? Because it gives you kind of a template. Oh, we got a super chat.
Yeah. €5 super chat. Hey, hear that Yahweh's breath in and breath out equals sound out. Any s/wind/breath gods you think might be connected here? Shoot value. And Lil, Numa.
It's interesting that Yahweh does that. And I think that's a later folk etymology because Yahweh.
Yeah,
like it's true that the word does do that, and I can see why people would point this out and notice it. I don't think that's the origin of the name, though.
No, but I think this guy, the scholar we're talking about, actually says something about that too, on how it's breath. The idea of the name has a hint to the breathing, because according to Nisa Mamzalog, which in this documentary that I have here, he highlights that when this god, mind you, this god Yahweh is a metallurgy god. This god is the flame, the fire, right? Let me just play this intro. Get people teased in here real quick.
Whoops.
Sure here we go. Picture a world where Yahweh is a nobody. He doesn't even
Can you full screen it?
Ancient Israel.
There you go.
Yet. Yes, that's right. Yahweh and El are not the same gods. They are two different deities with two completely different stories. That is, until they merge into one god later. The gods ruling the land are El, the wise creator, his consort Asherah, and the storm-wielding Baal. So how does this upstart god Yahweh show up out of nowhere and end up on the throne? Buckle up, because this mystery runs deep. First, we glide past the Dead Sea into the rugged hills of Judea. Yahweh has some roots here, but guess what? He's not the only god in town. There's another deity hiding in the background, one with a shocking connection to Yahweh that could flip everything you thought you knew. From there, we travel to Edom, the realm of Kos. Some scholars whisper that Kos and Yahweh might just be one and the same. And in the copper smelting region of Timnah, under the blazing sun, Yahweh could have emerged like a god forged in fire, flames, molten metal, and all the drama of a divine blacksmith. But this fiery birth is just the start. We head east to Midian, where Moses fled after his big Exodus fiasco, marrying into a family of Yahweh worshippers. The Midianites hold a key piece of Yahweh's story, one that's going to make you rethink everything about this god's past. We trek across the Sinai to Kuntilat Adrud, where an ancient inscription stuns us
Yahweh and his Asherah. Yes, Yahweh might have had a goddess by his side, something they didn't teach you in Sunday school. Now we drift down the Nile in Egypt to a hidden treasure, the oldest known inscription of Yahweh, etched into an Egyptian temple. But he's not the God of Israel here. He's Yahweh in the land of Shasu, a god of nomadic tribes spread across the deserts of Edom, Midian, and beyond. A wandering deity with an untold origin story. And then we set sail across the Mediterranean to the Aegean, where the Minoan and Mycenaean peoples thrived on the island of Crete. Some scholars think Yahweh may have made it all the way here, taking on a whole new identity, one that's going to blow the lid off everything you thought you knew about this God. So who is Yahweh really? A god of fire? A wanderer? A mysterious figure hiding in plain sight?
By the way,
Unravel
pause real quick.
secrets of this.
Another location where you find that name Yahweh is Crete in Linear B. So that name, so the traders of Crete, the traders of the Ionians, the Hittites, and Carl Karenni even points out. Carl Karenni points out that Yahweh, the name Yahweh, the name Yahweh, or Yakus, or that name of Yahweh is also present in Linear B inscriptions as well. So there might be some sort of parent god to all three of these gods. Yahweh, Apollo, and Dionysus might all have a parent god somewhere in Asia Minor. And there's one theory that says it's Ea.
Right.
Ea, the Mesopotamian god Ea, which actually makes a lot of sense because in the flood myths, it's Enki or Cronus in the flood myths. That's like one little data point. But then you have Ea is the god who gives life. He's the life god. He's the water, the fresh water god who swells up the fruits. You know, he's the life giver. And that's kind of what you find with Dionysus and Yahweh.
It's, bro, there's something going on. I mean, you and me would look at Ea or Enki, same god. There's too many characteristics, I think, in Genesis to ignore this deity as having some kind of comparison. Yes. And even with the Adapa story, which Adam and Adapa, there have been scholars who've taken serious the etymological roots of Adapa, the sage of Enki or Ea, and Adam, that they think there might be some linguistic continuity going down into the biblical tradition. Absolutely. And in that story, the breaking of the south wind's wings, Adapa, the sage of Enki, breaks the south wind's wings because it flipped him over in his boat. And next thing you know, he's being summoned to heaven. And the very first guardian of the entrance to Anu's temple in heaven is Engish Zeta, a serpent deity, a literal serpent deity. And he enters in and he says, don't you eat of the food of life or the food of death or the drink of death, according to what Enki or Ea says. But it's not. He lied to him. Just like the day you eat, you will surely die. Yeah. He lied to them. You see what I'm saying? So there's there's stuff going on, bro. For sure. And then the name Ea, or you can see how that could become Yah over time. Ea. Like you can see that how that might be the origin of this name. Something maybe there are a few scholarly articles on that positing that as a theory. It's not a consensus though. Victor, you rock. Stele of Keti, shining ore or Ihui. I'm not sure how to pronounce. Ihui was a mining location, maybe Slave Hill in Timnah, where possible remnants of the tabernacle were found. That's wild. I've never heard about remnants of the tabernacle. Stele of Keti. Let me see if I can find it. Is that the one that's from? Let me see. I'm looking at these steles. I'm not seeing Keti, but yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of that, but that would be you're on WhatsApp. Hook me up with whatever source you got, bro. Thank you for the super chat, Victor. Really appreciate that. Victor's doing deep dives too, so just so you know, Neil, like Victor's on some stuff here. He's finding stuff.
Yeah.
I keep hearing messages. Is that a
No, I was doing a word search for the word catchy. It wasn't coming up in this.
okay?
Yeah.
Just checking.
Maybe it's spelled different. Maybe it's just spelled different.
So
I'm not familiar with it though.
I don't want to I don't want to go on through the whole video because obviously, but we could play.
Well, I wanted to see the part where you talked about the trade route. Do you have that?
Okay, let me skip ahead here. I might need your help. Can you see what I'm pulling up? Oh, no.
Now I could, yeah.
There we go.
Thyrsis by the Hellenists. Oh yeah, Aaron's Thyrsis. That's another one, dude. Oh my god,
so many.
Aaron's Thyrsis. Aaron is holding a Thyrsis. I don't care what you say. That they don't say it and call it a Thyrsis. They call it a rod, but the way it's described is exactly how these old Thyrsises in these ancient Aegean potteries look like.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead here trying to find it, man.
Yeah, I'm going to find that.
It is absolutely there's trade routes, and look, there's some of the pottery too. You know how you were talking about pottery?
Yes.
That's ancient Israel jars. I go through the pottery in this to show exactly what you said, that there is Sea People Aegean pottery down there in the same region that the metallurgy, stuff is going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, trying to find it here. Bear with me, bro. There's the serpent on the staff. I go through that. I go through milk. These are all parallels to Dionysus, by the way, because when he was little, he also like captures a serpent and stuff.
Yeah. While you're looking through that, let me just show something on my screen real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is the old Thyrsis. This is not a pine cone. Like when you find in the Hellenistic and Roman periods, if you okay, let me see if I can. This is 430 BCE, 5th century BCE. When you look at a Thyrsis, it's a flowery, leafy rod that's as big as her head. That's not a pine cone. Like when you go back to this is what they eventually look like over time. They eventually become like pine cones. But the point I'm trying to make here is when you go back far enough, let me see if I can find that again. Let me see, keep going. Yeah, look at these. These older, that's the pine cone one. That's the bigger one. That's from, and then, hold on, there's a super chat. Here we go. That's the one I wanted to find. We got a super. Oh no, this is someone joining, I think.
Oh, sweet. Thank you
for joining.
A Justin Abate 7,765 has become initiated.
Oh, thank you, dude. Thank you. Appreciate that. And it's out on both spots too. So
really?
Yeah.
No. That's your vertical and your horizontal. You'll get used to it.
Okay.
Yep. It's the same thing. Same thing.
Yeah. So check this out. See how gigantic that Thyrsis is?
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Cone.
So let me ask you this.
Cone.
Then what do we do? All right. So when we go to ancient Mesopotamian,
look at that. That's not a pine cone.
Yeah, that's way bigger than a pine
cone. So let me do this for you. When Aaron's rod is this, what verse is in Exodus where Aaron's rod verse Exodus? I'm going to find that right now. As I'm showing you this on the screen, I want to explain to you Exodus 7-10 through 12. Listen to this. It says, as I'm reading it to you, I want you to look at what you're looking at. Right? It says Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh, and Aaron threw his staff down in front of Pharaoh, became a snake. Oh, that's not the one. That's not the one. Exodus. No. Aaron's staff, rod, leafy verses. Hold on. Which verse is it again? Numbers 7-8? Oh, it's Numbers. Okay, Numbers 17. I thought it was in Exodus. I mean, it might be in both, but let's do Numbers 17:8. So it says, here's what it says. The next day, Moses entered the tent and saw Aaron's staff, which represented the tribe of Levi, had not only sprouted, but had budded, blossomed, and produced almonds. That's what the hell? Yeah. What kind of staff? And then you look at these magical Bacchic Thyrsises, and it's a very leafy, sprouty, flowery, sometimes like very strange looking staffs. And the only thing I can describe when I hear Aaron's rod described like that, that's budding, flowering, budding, and I see this, and I'm like, okay, I think he's got a theosis. You know what I mean?
That is interesting to think. I think, well, that's why I was going to ask you about this one. So let me share my screen, and I'm going to stop sharing the video because I don't know if I cover. I know the article gets into that. I planned on doing a part 2 to that documentary that I made. Oh, it's not this one. I'm just going to get the image itself and share the image because you know you could zoom in better when you have like just the image up. Okay, so here's the image. That looks like a pine cone, right?
Yes.
But here's the thing.
It's not.
These are massive ass, these beings are not normal humans. These are like massive giants.
Yeah, and if you actually look at other images on that same, that's an Assyrian, by the way.
Yeah,
that's like 700s BC.
Right.
If you actually look at other parts of that, it shows them in more depth. Here, I just did a post on this recently. I'll show you.
Okay. Sure.
And maybe I can just pull up my post and I can show you like in depth. Let me see. Post. It was kind of a while ago, but not that long ago. I should be able to find it pretty soon. But I can show you. I don't think these are pine cones. I think it's a what is it called? A date palm. And you're like, huh? Yeah. I'll show you. Wait till I show you. The Middle Eastern date palm look like that. They have the same golden ratio type of thing that you find with what's it called? Damn, I post a lot. I gotta stop posting so much. I'm still going down. Maybe I could do you know what I could do? I could do
I think you missed a super chat.
Date palm. Did I miss a super chat?
Yep. Jason Kakulo. Thank you so much, Jason. Could the Denyen sea people introduced Minoan deity that becomes Yahweh traded to or from or both the Southern Levant? That's what I was suspecting. So I'll just give myself a shameless plug here in the chat on MythVision side. I don't want to spam your side, but I'm going to put in the chat the link to my YouTube video. And the title of that video is Yahweh's Forbidden Roots Will Blow Your Mind. In that video, I go a little further than Nisa Mamzalog and go, what if the other way around was the case? What if it wasn't Yahweh went into the Aegean becoming Dionysus and whatnot out there? What if the sea peoples brought this deity here? And I suspected this because Nisa Mamzalog pointed this out, and Neil will tell you too. When you go to the Homeric hymn to Dionysus, he's from the Dead Sea
from the east. Yeah.
So the question is it because, Yahweh went up there and then they're going, oh, his real roots back there? Or is it that Dionysus came down here and, some later retelling of it says, hey, he's from this region, but really. Or
Homer could, it's possible that he became prominent in the East and he came from the North event before that. And then he became prominent in the East. By the time you get to Homer, he's from the East.
I do know the Denyen sea people.
Or Danny B's dropped $20 super chat. Cannabis has colas at the end of long branches which can be turned into staffs. It's the flowers. Almonds is a later cover-up of the Asherah pole canna as the menorah and holy candlestick prior. Looks like the fruit of date.
Maybe. It's possible.
Bakken likes to.
Yeah, no, it's a little speculative, but it's possible. I'm not opposed to that at all. I don't think it's impossible. It's a zero-sum chance. There's a possibility that's true. But I'm just looking at the evidence that we have, not trying to do any speculation. Just look at the evidence and right where it falls down to. And you got a leafy rod, you got almonds. I don't have to insert any cover-ups. I'm just looking at the evidence. But yeah, who knows? Like this, it's really strange. Like no matter what, it's a strange thing that Aaron has this rod that flowers and buds and sprouts and produces almond. It's weird.
That tree, think
the one. Yeah, you just reminded me.
Huh?
Yeah, you just reminded me about this. This.
Oh, your post. Yeah, go ahead and share.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll give you some background. Some forbidden truth guy, one of these morons that are constantly pushing pseudoscience to the world. He calls it the Sumerian gods holding pine cones. It's not even Sumerian, dude. It's this is Neo-Assyrian.
It's
I mean,
like
this is
700, 800 BC.
literally like calling Shakespeare Celtic poetry. Like seriously, that's the same. It's the same distance in time from the Celts to Shakespeare. You know what I mean?
You do go around debunking all these people.
Yeah, I went off on this guy, and I showed you. If you actually keep looking at these in descriptions, you can see that doesn't look like a pine cone anymore. Does it?
Can you crop in a little bit more? Because I do think you're right about the date palm. I can see it, but it's not the best.
I can't zoom in on this thing.
Yeah. Okay. So describe what we're looking at. I can see it. I just figured.
Look, you got like it looks like a date palm. Look at the leaves right here. Pine cones don't have leaves on top like that.
Right.
They don't have 3 leaves sticking out. They don't have like little buds sticking out, and they're not little dots like that either. That looks like a fruit of some kind. You can see the shape of it. It's not a pine cone. And so look, if you actually look at date palms, they look just like the depiction.
Right.
See? So it looks more like a date palm than anything else. It has the same shape and everything.
You know what? I did another video where I was actually trying to get behind Genesis 48, I think it was, when Jacob sleeps with his daughter-in-law and he's like trying to get his sons to get her pregnant and he can't. And Ishtar has deep roots into the date palm.
Yes.
The name.
Look at this. Dumutsi Amashumagalana is a Sumerian deity, but like we're not looking at the same art anymore. It's just different. So it's true, like it does come from the Sumerians, but you're pointing to a Neo-Syrian artwork. You shouldn't call it Sumerian. Anyways,
exactly.
It says he was the bridegroom of what you just said. Inanna, lady of the date clusters. They're not lady of the pine cone. They're lady of the date clusters. And then his name, Amashkelana, means of the date. That's what it means. It means right here, one great source of the date clusters. So the Dumutsi of the date clusters. So there's so much, and I'm just pointing this out as like, look, why would these Apkallu be picking pine cones rather than date palms when the date palms are sacred to these gods? Like put 2 and 2 together, right?
Right.
It's obviously
right.
Yeah,
I do think the date palm thing is definitely what's going on. There are almond trees as well. There are various trees. Oh yeah,
it looks like a squishy. Like it doesn't look like a that looks way different. I'm trying to show the difference between this and that. Look how different they are.
Right.
That and that. They're not this. It's not a pine cone. I'm telling you. Anyways.
Yeah, it looks more like corn, if anything, and that's definitely not what it
corn,
is.
Yeah, like date palms. And that does have a corny, very corn look. Yeah.
Yep, it does. It does. So Bakken, I wouldn't be shocked if there's circumstances where cannabis obviously plays a role into these things, and we know that as we just did a live stream earlier, they found it on an actual altar. They found residue of cannabis on it. But as far as the tree itself.
And as far as it being a staff too, like let's make a staff out of cannabis, that I would have to go maybe.
I won't lie.
Like you'd have a big weed bud as the staff. Like, come on, dude.
Look, when I was a teenager and I bought an ounce, okay. Yeah. I remember they gave me the tip of the bud and it had a spiral tip that looked similar to this little like cone thing, but it clearly wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and but that's another thing is a weed doesn't sprout leafy. It doesn't make like Anyway, I don't know. It's a magical staff. It's probably not even real. The thyrsus are real. They make thyrsuses, but the way Aaron's rod is described as like bringing forth almonds, and I don't think that's a real thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's a mythological trope. I think it might be based on the cultural tropes of these thyrsuses, though. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Another super duper, though.
Thank you for the super.
Starkey 8668 dropped $5 super chat. Could the changing of the Sabbath to Sunday from Saturday related to the idea of Christ being the Son?
Yes. And this is actually something that's written about at length in the book about Constantine that I have, Constantine, where it talks about how solar theology was so big in the 3rd century, and Christians before the 3rd century thought they kept the Sabbath, and they didn't even have. I don't even think they had a Sunday Easter until the 3rd century. That I'm going to look that up. When was the first Sunday Easter? in the church.
You do that. I missed a super chat real quick. Jason Kakulo, thank you. He says a portion of the Denyen became tribe of Dan. I think that there's a root from the Aegean, and the Danites, the tribe of Dan, do come from the region of the Aegean. We've got them in Egyptian inscriptions, the sea peoples, Danoi, the Danoi, and in Homer, you get this mention of a group that are particularly this. So I think there is good reason to think this, and the fact that this when you're dealing with the Philistines, the tribe of Dan is closely associated with the Philistines as well. So there's a lot going on there, I think, with the tribe of Dan and the Denyen people, or the Danoi, or however you want to describe them, depending on the linguistic connection, Jason. So I think there's something to it. It's probably a historical memory that goes back to the sea peoples. Kind of like the Exodus may have a historical memory going back to the Exodus of the Hyksos and whatnot.
Yeah. Back
to Chase, though. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. So, so what he was saying, it actually, we don't know when the first Sunday tradition started. It seems to be, from what I'm looking into, it's, the early church, Easter is the earliest attested holiday, way before Christmas. But it was on Nisan 14, based on the Jewish calendar, so it had nothing to do with Sunday. The Sunday tradition is like a late second, early third century idea, and that's because of the rise of solar theology, not just everywhere. Solar theology is becoming the biggest thing. Mithraism is rising. You have, so they're adopting some of these solar theologies into Christianity. And then it makes sense that Sunday would become the holy day, instead of the Sabbath. They're trying to get away from Judaism, is what I'm getting at. They're moving away from Judaizers and towards a more Roman approach. That's what's happening in the 3rd century.
I have nothing to add to that. Yeah, you'd know better than I would about that. I know that they kept both days for a period. Some kept both days, from what I read from some scholars, but I really don't know enough about I imagine they definitely associated it with the sun at some point, no doubt. It's just, did they have it because it was Easter Sunday at first, just kind of like a day that they celebrated because that's when they claimed the Lord rose, or was it already set to these cosmic dates and stuff?
Guess what? It would, Nisan 14 is always going to be on a Saturday based on the Jewish calendar, no matter what. You understand why, right? Let me explain why.
Go ahead. Yeah. Nisan
1 is always calculated based on the new moon of the new year. It's the head of the new year. It literally is the head of the new year. You know this, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Nisan's the new year. Nisan 14 is the first full moon, which was called Sabbath in Akkadian. Full moon, Sabbath is 14th day of the year. So they didn't have 7-day Sabbaths. They had 14-day Sabbaths.
It's a different calendar.
But anyways, the Jewish calendar, if you're going to calculate Nisan 14, every single year, it's always going to be on a Saturday. Always. Because you're going to have your first day of the week as Saturday. The 7th day of the week is, the first day of the week is Sunday, and then Saturday's the 7th. So the 7th day of the week is Saturday. That means the 14th day of the month is always going to be the second Sabbath. So at some point, the church had to make a decision to change from Saturday Easter to Sunday Easter. And it might have to do with the fact that he did rise on the next day. He rises on Sunday. That's probably a huge part of it. But there also has to be, when you look at the trends in Roman religion with solar theology and Mithraism, and then even Constantine deciding on Sunday as a holy day. Constantine was the first emperor to make Sunday a holy day for the Roman imperial cult. That didn't happen. It didn't happen in Theodosius' time. It happened in Constantine's time. Even though Constantine didn't make the pagans illegal, he still made Sunday a holy day.
Right.
And he's a Roman imperial cultist of the pagan tradition of Sol Invictus. So I'm just saying I'm just pointing some nuances out.
Yeah, no.
Sunday, you know.
I'm not stepping on that either.
Yeah.
We got a super chat, another one. Thank you so much for that. Jason, again, I think they said in the chat they meant breasts. Breast of the goddess in Ephesus were date palms. And so I pulled up the image just to make sure people could see what's going on here. This is the Artemis goddess from Ephesus. And people wonder, look carefully. That's pretty good quality too, getting in close. Yeah. What are these? Some scholars say bull testicles. Some say it's eggs. Some say it's breasts. It's just mini breasts. So
it's hard to tell exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's badass though.
But you know what? I don't think it matters. I think the artist is trying to depict fertility.
Yeah, exactly.
It just has that fertility breast egg look going on.
Pretty cool piece of art though.
It's beautiful. Joke. That was literally what was in the. Now that's a later Roman version of it. The original version was wooden and painted black. It was painted black too. It wasn't, but that's bronze. What you're looking at. The original one would look kind of like this, but this is a remake. But yes, this is pretty much what you would have saw if you would have went to the temple of Ephesus of Artemis in Ephesus, obviously.
Powerful. Love it. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jason. Just figure I'd, mention it's not day palms as far as we know. And I got another super duper here. Enduring Motifs. Thanks so much for the super chat. The data can lean this way. Yahweh wasn't originally a proper name. It was a verbal common noun type designation, and the language shows that system existed long before any clear Yahweh deity. Interesting. Above my I don't know much about this.
Yeah, I don't know. The verbal common noun type designation. I guess he's saying like the word Yah is just like a common prefix that you use in a lot of different words, and which would be true. Right, even in Greek, Ia, the iota alpha prefix is all over the place. It's for many different. It can mean a million different things. It doesn't just mean one thing.
Right.
You find the iota alpha prefix in all types of different words. It can mean a lot of things.
That's a good point. So all the Theophoric
could be real. Yeah.
Right. So if we find names like you were talking about earlier up here in West Asia in the north, or if you find them in the south, unless it's clearly identifying a deity, we shouldn't presuppose if we find Yah in a name that it draws that conclusion.
That's why I think, and I was trying to show this to Gad Barnea, and he just was like, I don't know, whatever, maybe who knows. And but this is why I think the Ionian thing is such a big piece to this puzzle, because you have a clear, we know that they're devotees. They know they worship Apollo here. Apollo's the major god here. We know Apollo has a name Yeos, and we have a name Yahweh in the name. Like I can point to it. I have evidence of it. I don't have to speculate what it means. Right.
Right.
So that's why I love bringing this to the discussion, the whole Ionian thing. And they're even known in Hebrew as Yavan. So,
great.
They know who they are. Right. So,
yeah, this was a great super chat, Enduring. Great point. And that's one of the things Giovanni Garbini, I wrestled with. I mean, I'm getting into this. He thinks that Yahweh was from the Canaanite. He already existed. And then scholars go, no, that's not Yahweh. That's Yam. And then there's all sorts of other interesting things. Thank you so much for that. Jason Kakulo is back. Christ equals Sol Invictus, Mithridates. Neal?
Mithridates is a human being. Maybe. I mean, I think you're saying, like, is he influenced by? Because there is a story about Mithridates' birth with a star in the sky, and a new king will be born. I think there was some scuffle over trying to kill the child or something like that. Very common motifs. So I don't know. I'm not saying he is Mithridates, but maybe that's what the super chat's getting at.
But the Sol Invictus. Now you have gone, my gosh, bro. Like,
I think Christ takes on traits of Sol Invictus. I'm not saying Christ is based on Sol Invictus. I think once you get past the 3rd century, the Roman Christians are adopting solar theology and applying it to Christ. He literally is called the Son of Righteousness.
Right.
And that's taken from the Old Testament, by the way. But they really like to hammer this home. They use it in the artworks. In the Vatican, underneath the Vatican is a 3rd century mosaic of Christ, literally as Sol Invictus. I mean, since we're doing images of God, why not show that one? Christ as Sol Invictus. Here it is. I found it already. Here it is. There we go. Share my screen.
Thank you again.
This, if anyone wants to know what this is literally from the tomb of the Julii in the Vatican necropolis, 3rd century. It's underneath the Vatican right now. It's sitting there. Or no, it's in the museum now, I think. But that's what they discovered.
The rays and
Abramovix dropped €2 super chat. Have you looked into Hermopolitan creation myth Amun?
Hermopolitan creation myth Amun. No, I haven't. That's something I'll take a look at, though, for sure. I appreciate that. Creation
Jason.
myth Amun. No, it's been a while since I've looked into that.
Hey, Justin Bate, thanks for becoming a member. I think didn't they become a member of yours too? Yes, they joined both of us.
Awesome.
That's
Look at
how
this.
you get.
Yeah, I thank you for joining. I appreciate that. The mosaic of Sol in the mausoleum from the tomb of the Julii. They discovered this underneath the Vatican, 3rd century, in a Christian. This is how we know it's Christ. It's in a Christian catacomb, and there's everything surrounding this is all scenes from the New Testament. And then you find this in the middle of it all. And it's Christ with the 7 rays of Sol Invictus. That's a very common trait of Sol Invictus, the 7-rayed God. He's got his 4 white horse, and he's got Bacchic ivy. He's Dionysian and solar. So this is what the note says. Christus Helios, the mosaic of Sol, which interpreted as Christ's soul, Christ the Son. From the mausoleum of the Julii, the necropolis underneath St. Peter's mid-3rd century basilica in Rome. Mosaic and the Vatican necropolis under St. Peter's Basilica. Christ, representation of Christ as either Helios or Sol Invictus, riding in his chariot, dated to the 3rd century. Early Christian and pagan beliefs are combined in this 3rd century mosaic as Christ as a sun god. The Son of Righteousness is what they call him in throughout many of these texts. Justin Martyr says this. Justin Martyr calls him the Son of Righteousness. He quotes Psalm 19:5, which is what called. Let's actually pull that up right now. Let's see what it says.
I'll get it. I'll get it right
You
now.
got it? Okay, cool. As you're pulling it up. It was associated with the ancient Christian custom of praying towards the east, the direction of Christ's ascension and the second coming, instead of Jerusalem. As Jews, see exactly what I'm talking about. They're turning away from their Jewish roots and they're moving towards a more Roman thing.
Okay, it says, in the heavens, he has set a tent for the sun, which comes out like a bridegroom from his wedding canopy, and like a strong man runs its course with joy. Its rising is from the end of the heavens, and its circuit to the end of them, and nothing is hid from its heat.
Okay, that's another one. That's what the one I wanted to find was Malachi 3:20.
Okay,
I think so. Yeah, go to Malachi 4:2 first, or no 3:20,
3,
and then go to 4:2 after that.
Okay.
But yeah, Malachi 3:20. What does it say?
3:20. There is no 20 on 3.
Oh, then go to Malachi 4:2.
Okay, 4:2 is, but for you who revere my name, the Son, S-U-N.
Yeah,
show
them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my bad. I should have told you.
No, you're good. You're good. We're juggling. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Here we are. So but for you,
revere my name, the Son of Righteousness shall rise. And it's called the great day of the Lord. The Bible has it posted as. The day is coming, burning like an oven, with arrogant and evildoers will be stubble. The day comes that shall burn them up, says the Lord of hosts. Leave neither root nor branch. You revere for my name, the Son of Righteousness shall rise. I mean, they're looking. You can see how Christians are looking at this and going, "Oh, he is the Son, dude. Okay,
yeah,
he's the Son of Righteousness." right?
Absolutely. The sun, the bright light,
S-U-N, yeah,
S-U-N, that you could see them finding Christ in scripture and using that for sure.
absolutely.
No
And
doubt.
and then this is what's influencing this mosaic. He's the son of righteousness, but it's also being influenced by 3rd century pagan solar theologies that are happening.
Yeah, because you passed Dionysus up at the top.
There's Dionysus, all the imagery, and look at this. It says, now some people might say, well, how do you know this isn't just Sol Invictus? And how do you know it's Christ to begin with? And they describe it. They say, because the other scenes on the same wall show A, Jonah falling from a ship and being swallowed by a whale, B, fishermen standing on rocks, the good shepherd with a sheep across his shoulders, the mosaic on the dome. By the way, this is all pagan Jewish iconography if you think about it. You have Jonah from the whale. You can see that with Jason and the Argonauts. The fisherman stuff, that's just whatever. Then the good shepherd, you can see that can be Hermes and Jesus at the same time.
Mm.
So you could see this entire tomb is a synchronistic combination of Jewish and Christian and pagan themes going on at the same time. That's what's going on with Christianity in the 3rd century.
Wild. I think it goes back earlier. I think we go back to the New Testament. That's the problem. You and I look at John's Gospel, Dionysian. Jason Kakulo again with the super chat. We got 2 by him, so let's knock those out. And again, super chat, any questions, comments, whatever. It helps Gnostic Informant and MythVision. Also, Yahoo and Yah, Syrian Levantine Bronze Age gods. You know about Bronze Age Syrian Levantine gods named Yah?
No,
I don't either.
Yahoo. Are you talking about Are you talking about the Shasu that we already discussed? Maybe he came in late.
Well,
we talked about Yah, Syrian, Levantine, Bronze Age gods. I have no idea.
Elephantine. I don't know.
Yah, Syrian. I don't know who Yah, the Syrian god, is. Talking about Yam. There's Yam.
So if you're talking about Giovanni Garbini, he does think that Yah goes back, but he is in a minority position who thinks that Yah being Yahweh goes back.
Because it could just be a shorter it could just be Yam. That's all. And it makes sense because Yam is the god from that pantheon. We know he's there. The odds of just one random message, one random citation that just randomly mentions Yahweh and then he's never mentioned again, it's not likely.
Yeah.
But you have Yam, whose name literally starts off the same 2 letters in Ugarit, and it's the same 2 letters in this text. It's freaking Yam, dude. It's Yam. So I'm just saying, I don't think Yahweh exists in Ugaritic sources.
What's up, Witch Doctor? I see you in the chat. Good to see you. You already got this one. Here's Jason Kakulo again. Thank you, Jason. Versions of Apollo may have begun in Anatolia first, then entered the Mycenaean-Minoan world, then Denyen, then entered the Levant and became Yahweh by 1200 BCE. So this is your point earlier.
Maybe.
You were saying Apollo, but you think Apollo stems more from the West Asiatic region.
Say that again.
So you were giving this idea that Apollo etymologically sounded similar.
It's the Ionians.
Right.
Yeah, because he is. That's his name. His name is Yeos. Yeah, I'll show you right now. Perseus Tufts. This is the Greek, and I could just show you Yeos. Look at this. Share my screen. Or actually, is it gonna?
Here, I'm gonna stop and so you can share.
All right. Share my screen. Right here. So this is the name. Yeos. And it's of Apollo. It's the name of Apollo.
Right.
And if you actually go to the Ionians, right? The Ionians, who these people are, you can see their etymology of their name is Yahwones. And by the way, Yah and Ye are very much interchangeable in Greek, depending on dialect. So Yah or Ye or Ya or Ya, you know what I mean? It literally means it's you. Here's the title right there, Yeos. I just showed you.
Right.
So it's literally the name of the people are based on the name of their god, their central god. And we actually know that the Ionians' their central god was Apollo. This is everyone knows this.
So this is the question that always comes back to you and me.
Yeah.
Is it only later authors like Herodotus, which is pretty early in a way, but anyway, later authors like Herodotus or Apollodorus or the various other authors that we study, are they seeing these connections and just making up the affiliation, or are they seeing something that goes back? You see what I'm saying? Because you and I constantly struggle with this. We go, man, we know the Romans and the Greeks were seeing these overlaps between Bacchus and Dionysus and Yahweh, but like we see ancient material that seems to hint at this idea, and of course within the Bible that goes back as well. And that's
what I'm saying. We know, so there's no Yahweh in the Ugaritic text, and then the Semitic dynasty of Egypt, the Hyksos, they don't worship Yahweh. Where did Yahweh's not in Mesopotamia, unless you think it's Ea, but there's no Yahweh there. So where did Yahweh come from? Well, you can see a Yayos or some sort of Yah god in Asia Minor. You can see him there. He's there. We don't have to speculate on that. He's there. The question is, did the Shasu nomads invent their own god with the same name? Because it could be coincidence. They just have different gods named Yah. And someone might say, well, what about the moon? There's Ra, the sun, and Yah, the moon, in Egyptian. And even Osiris has the name Osiris Yah, Osiris the moon. But the spelling, the words, the hieroglyphics they use for Yah and the moon is not the same as the Shasu are using for their Yahweh. It's more of a it's more like Yeh or Yah. It's a different Yah, spelled differently.
Right.
The point I'm making is, so I'm basically making a point is either the Shasu nomads invented a brand new god, or it came from somewhere. Where else did it come from but this place where we can attest where there's a god who's called Yah or Yeh?
Yeah, but there's also a god named Yahweh or Yahweh in Sudan.
That's the one I'm talking about. That's the one.
Oh, I thought you were talking about up here in the Ionian.
No, that's what I'm saying. Okay. That's the Shasu.
Right,
so
right.
That's what I'm saying. Did the Shasu invent him? And it's just this just happens to be the same name as these Northerners have for their god. It's possible.
Right.
I'm not saying it's off the table. Or did they import him? And then the evidence even points to them trading with the Aegean. They're using their pottery. They're trading metals to them. So we even have evidence that they know each other and are trading with each other. So I'm just saying there's a good chance, zero-sum chance, that Yahweh was imported from the north, from Asia Minor. I'm not saying that the Hittites invented him or the Ionians. I don't even know which one. Yeah. But somewhere in that region, there's this god, Yeh or Yah, floating around. He's a very, very high-level god. He's not just a minor god, a very high-level god. And then, like I said, there's two options. Either they invented the god who just sounds a lot like this other god, or they imported him. I think they imported him.
Interesting. Jason, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate that. We got Bakken back, says, check your book messages.
I will.
Oh, Facebook messages. Okay.
I'll definitely check them.
I don't know if you're having the same problem I have. My phone messenger's acting funny. Oh, he said, thanks, brother. Okay. Bakken sent me something saying, thanks, brother.
Appreciate that. Oh,
he said, hold on, dude. We got to show this just to give like a little something for him.
All right.
You're going to laugh. This is funny. This I wonder, did you make this, Bakken? Did you go out of your way to make this, bro?
Nice.
Oh, snap. That's funny. Thank you, Bakken. Appreciate you, man. Oh, I think that's
funny.
Yeah, there's several images they sent me. There's also other stuff too. But more plants, more buds, things like that. And then you see the date palms. The date palms, though, to your point, you kind of get this. They're in clusters, but let me show what that one looks at.
That's what they're called, date clusters.
Yeah, let's give people a little bit of a view of what that looks like here, just so they have an idea of the date clusters and what you were trying to get at with the date palms. So here is.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy, huh? Yep. So,
And a lot
Yeah.
of times those are bunched in a lot smaller, and depending on the species of date palm, you'll see them like smaller and more packed together.
makes sense.
Yeah, I have those outside my house right now. So do you.
Yes, we do. Several species. And then Gaddis is back again. Says Amen is fun. The Leiden papyrus. What is that? Is that a 1? 350?
350. Yeah.
Yeah. Poetry from ancient Egypt equals hymns to Amun, a god who is both a hidden breath and a universal mind. Interesting.
Yeah.
I think Nisa Mamzalog said to me on the phone last time, because he's a heavy accent. It's hard to understand him. He said, you got to look to Egypt more. He said for Yahweh. That's what he told me. And he said a lot of scholars are
Who said that?
sleeping. Nisa Mamzalog. He said, we got to look.
What do you mean by like we got to look? You're talking about
think
like precedents, like for example, how Yahweh looks a lot like the god.
Yes, that.
Yeah, not the name.
The name.
Yes,
but
I agree. I made this. I did a whole video on this.
Exactly.
My origins of Yahweh video. You know that, right? My origins of Yahweh video. You saw that?
Pull that up,
Yeah,
bro.
I'll show you just to look at the thumbnail too. Where is that video, by the way? Oh, here it is. Just to show you even the thumbnail of it. I have an Egyptian god with the Egyptian writing, and 725,000 views. I really get into. Can you hear this?
Influence the middle place.
Yes.
If you go to the beginning, I talk about the divine craftsman, and it's
35.
What's it called? What's his name? Ptah, the god Ptah.
Yep.
I think a lot of the inspiration for what Yahweh is in the Bible is from Ptah.
Bronze Age. This title also appears
Go full screen.
text 353. Ptah is frequently referred to as Lord or the Eternal One. This association between El and Ptah that brought about the consistent use of Olam, meaning eternal.
Isn't that something? And that's in Semitic languages in Israel. They worship Ptah there. Did you know that?
Absolutely.
Let me see if I can. Did I go back far enough? By
the way,
right
I've been binge watched every documentary you've ever done.
Ptah
Nice.
seems to be more closely related to the artisan deity, Kothar Wakasis. An additional link is observed with the Mandean angel, Ptah-il, blending the names Ptah and Il together.
That's later on.
Herodotus, the famous Moses, he called
After the reign of the
Look at
priest of Hephaestus Ptah, the Egyptians were made free. But they could never live without a king, so they divided Egypt into
the 12 districts. So after the reign of Ptah, they were divided into 12 districts, right? There's something weird going on with this Ptah.
districts and set up 12 kings. These kings
You're
intermarried
married,
and agreed to be close friends.
They're like
no
12
one
tribes.
opposing another or seeking to possess more than another.
There's your 12 tribes origin right there.
The reason for this agreement, which they scrupulously kept, was this. No sooner were they established in their districts than an oracle was given them that whichever of them poured a libation from a bronze vessel in the temple of Hephaestus Ptah, whereas in all the temples they used to assemble, would be king of all Egypt.
Now, what I found interesting about this text is the division between the 12 tribes, if you will, of the ruling class of Egypt at this time. And it makes you wonder, could this be some of the source material used for the creation of the 12 tribes in the story in Genesis? The 12 districts itself wouldn't be too convincing. But when you take a look at El or Yahweh being a god of metallurgy.
You get the point there.
Yeah.
But you know what I want to show real quick while we're on this topic? There's also Osiris Yah. And it's interesting. And the reason why I know people are going to, I know already Gad already, we talked about this, how it's not the same spelling as the Yahweh of the Shasu. So it's not the same Yah. It just means, it's just for the word moon. The word moon means Yah, or the word moon is Yah in Egyptian. It's spelled different. But what I find interesting about this, it's Osiris who's constantly linked with Yah, And Dionysus is linked with Osiris, and he's called Yahweh. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Yahweh. That's we've seen
Dionysus is Osiris, who's
Right.
Yahweh.
Right.
Right? And there might be some lunar things going on. They might have tweaked the name a little bit. I'm saying like I'm just throwing out another speculative theory. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying this is what happened, but check this out. When we look at Yah, let's see if we can look at his name. Moon. I guess in Proto-Semitic it's war, which is sort of debunks the idea that this is the root of Yahweh. But in the Egyptian it's Yah. And look at see, it's not spelled the same as the one that's on my thumbnail. It's different.
Mm.
And I guess it's like Ja or Ja. Anyways, the point I'm making is he's the moon god, you know, like Sol or Selene or something. Like he's the moon, you know.
Right.
But you can see Yah Jehudi. Weird, right? Yah was also assimilated with Osiris, god of the dead. Perhaps because in its monthly cycle, the moon appears to renew itself. That makes a lot of sense. But so I think there might be something going on with, you know, what's interesting right here, the child's side lock. He deferred usually wearing a full wig. Oh, instead of a child side lock. Never mind. Because I think that's a Hebrew thing too. The side lock.
Yeah.
You know,
they seem to have adopted it at least from earlier Egyptian.
Still dropped $9.99.
Ooh, that's Smill in the house.
Two contenders for predecessors to Yahweh are Baal and Seth. There was a Hyksos king of Egypt named Apophis around 1500.
Yes,
BC who
Apis.
worshipped Seth Baal.
Yes.
They were driven
Let's
out
pull
of
this up.
Egypt to Canaan.
Bring it up.
Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. This is Herodotus is actually aware of this king. Let me just go back to this side lock thing real quick. Oh, it's another super chat already.
By the way, there's like 4 or 5 before these that we didn't get yet. On
All
my
right.
end.
All
right, let's get to it in a second.
Do? Worshipping the deity comes out in your behavior. Worshipping the deity is the behavior. YHWH is war god.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll get to that in a second. So this is the side lock thing you can see, but I actually wanted to show a Pepi. Herodotus knows who this king is. He mentions him. He's also mentioned in Berosus, so that people know this is a famous pharaoh from the Hyksos period. And want to know what's so crazy about this, Derek? Is Aeschylus and Apollodorus and a few other sources talk about Apis or Apophis coming from some holy bloodline that's going to birth Dionysus in his second coming. And it goes through Apophis, this Hyksos god, Hyksos ruler. So they thought that the Hyksos had a sacred bloodline, a Dionysian sacred bloodline that was going to like change the world or something. Like this is what they were saying in these texts. And it turns out to be a Semitic king of Egypt. It's just such a wild coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, look at this. His name is Apepi. In the Greek became Apophis. Appropriation. Look at this. Hey, oh, look at this. Yanasi. Another Hyksos pre. Here's the Yah, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if it's from the moon. And this is what I'm wondering. This is what I'm asking scholars. Is it possible that this moon has some precedent over the later Yah of the Shasu? And a lot of scholars just say no to this. They say no, it's spelled differently. But because it's spelled differently, does that automatically cancel it out? Is what I'm wondering. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because you do find some Yah names in Hyksos text. Yanasi right here. You know what I mean? I think there's more too. I think if we go to the Hyksos kings, let's go. Let's see if we can find. Maybe there's a list of them here. Let's see. Hyksos. There's got to be a list of Hyksos kings, right?
I would imagine.
Rulers. Here we go.
Someone had to have.
So look at the mushroom-headed. Oh man!
Someone's about to come out with the Amanita. Here we go.
Yeah, so we know about Apophis or Paphos. Then there's Yanasi, Kamos. I'm trying to see if we have a list of these. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Manetho. So you have Yanasi. You have Yakub. Holy shit, like Jacob. You have a Yakub Har. I mean, come on. I'm just saying, like, how does that? Are we sure this has no connection to Jacob? I'm just saying. I'm sure a lot of people thought this. A lot of scholars will say no. I don't know. I'm just saying.
How close were the Hyksos to the Phoenicians? You know what I mean?
They were close. They were the same kin. They were close with them.
And the reason I asked that is because
they worship Baal.
Porphyry, dude. Right. Porphyry claims that the Phoenicians practically had an earlier tradition that the biblical authors took from. Now, I wish we had the evidence of the Phoenician writings in great detail so we could prove this, but Porphyry must have had access to something we don't anymore.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't help their cause. Yeah.
I'm
going to hit this real quick. Victor says Hyksos may have identified Sin with Thoth equals Jehudi. I'm not sure. DJE. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Jehudi. Hyksos may have identified Sin with Thoth equals Jehudi. Do you know?
Jehudi is Thoth. That's just another way to say his name.
Okay. So
that's the moon. Sin is the moon.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, oh my God, I just thought of this. The word of the moon in Egypt is Yah. Sinai is named after the moon god. So all you have to do is translate Sinai to Yah, and you have the same God, the moon god. That might be another possibility of how the Shashus got Yahweh. It might be a little tweak of the name Yah or something. Look at this, 15th dynasty. This is what their names are: Yanasi, Apophis. I guess there was a Yaakov too.
Now, these are the ones that ruled in Egypt, right? These aren't the ones that
rulers.
Okay. Gotcha.
The rulers. So, well, I want to find that one what was his name again?
Jacob.
Yeah, let me just see if I can go back to the page I was just looking at.
While you do that, Grandpa of 10, thank you for the $4.99 super sticker. Really appreciate the support, my friend. I don't think you wrote anything. Let me double check just to scroll up. I got some super chats I need to hit.
Here we go. Look at this. Yakbal.
Yakbal.
We were just wondering how close are they with their northerners? If his name is Yakbal, that's Lord. I mean, that could just be Lord Yak, but who's Yak? Like Yakos, Dionysus. You know what I mean? Yakos. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where these names came from. How is this not a theophoric name? Like I literally, I'm just an idiot. I'm an amateur. I'm not an Egyptologist. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I'm confused of why these names aren't considered to be theophoric names of Yahweh. I'm legitimately wondering that. Right?
Yeah.
Are you?
I have no idea. I want to hear an expert.
I would love to hear what they're saying on this. You know?
Absolutely.
Tel Yahudi. That's Judea. That's what that is.
Let me hit this next one here, Neal. This was Justin A. Bate. Thank you so much, Justin. Have you guys considered the views of Nehemiah Gordon in relation to Yahweh's pronunciation? How does this alter the views, if any? Have you heard of Nehemiah Gordon's?
No.
Let me pull it up. I think, isn't he like a Noahide or something, but I could be wrong. Nehemiah Gordon, Yahweh's pronunciation. I'm looking it up right now. Is Yahweh a possible pronunciation?
Yeah.
Let's see. Based on the Hebrew manuscripts in the Masoretic text, Nehemiah Gordon argues that the Hebrew name of God, Yahweh, is pronounced Yehovah. He contends that this pronunciation is supported by thousands of ancient manuscripts and represents the original Hebrew rather than the more common academic Yahweh.
Yeah, maybe. That's interesting. Look at this, though.
I've never looked
I found
at
another one. I found another name. Yakbeam secondary.
Huh.
There's another second intermediate period, which is when the Hyksos were ruling, right? Second intermediate period. And his name is Yakbeam, secondary. And it says his name appears inside a cartridge, which is a pharaonic prerogative. Nevertheless, on his seals, he's usually called the good god, or simply secondary, the son of Ra, Yakbeam. What the fuck? Where's the etymology of his name?
Yeah.
How come no one wants to? Here's another. I just found another name, dude. Look at this one. Ya'amu. I'm just scrolling around like an idiot. Like I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm just finding all these Yah names. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Yah this, Yah that. Yah know what I mean?
And this is all Hyksos. So I'm just wondering if any experts or, we might have a few scholars straggling in the audience.
For sure.
What's the reason why we don't attest Yahweh? Why is this not Yahweh? Is it the moon? And it's like the fact that they worship the moon so much in their names, that's kind of interesting, don't you think? It's a little bit of a coincidence, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I'd like to know if there's an expert who knows the languages. I mean, like PhD knows their shit. And
I mean, this is something I did talk to Gad with. I talked to Gad about this, and he just kept saying the Yah that you find in Egypt is for the moon, and it's spelled different than the Yah that you find in the Shasu. That makes sense. I'm fine with that. But I'm wondering, does that automatically cancel out the idea that there could be a connection? Maybe it does.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Thank you, Justin. I'm sorry about the Nehemiah Gordon. I have not heard this, so I don't really have much to comment on it. I don't know. I'd have to look at it. Bakken again is back. The term cannon comes from measure. A royal measuring yard was made out of hemp stalks. It was also the royal rope. See kings, queens holding both.
Mm.
Bakken likes that weed plant there, marijuana. You know what I'm saying, Bakken?
Yeah.
Brandon James says Midianite Kenite hypothesis. This Midianite, this is an interesting one, remains the strongest one. There are extra biblical evidence, and even the Bible itself admits Yahweh came from Edom, Midian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a strong hypothesis. At some point, they pick up Yahweh from somewhere. Whether they invented him is another question. But we know that the Shashus are active in these regions: the Midianite region, the Sinai Peninsula, these five cities and the Philistia cities. So where did they come from? Did they invent them? Who knows? But yes, the Bible seems to know this. The authors of Genesis and Exodus and the Torah, they seem to be aware of Yahweh's origins from that region. They're pointing down to that region.
Yeah, and that's why the whole mining situation that's been going on for thousands of years, it's not, the metallurgical position is not necessarily mutually exclusive with the Midianite Kenite hypothesis either. I mean, it could be from the same region. So yeah, I think there's some strong data to point toward this, Brandon. Thank you for the super chat. Martingat, thank you.
Yeah.
Currently going through God and anatomy. Can you also go through the deity's association with storm? So specifically Yahweh as a storm deity, this is where if you marry the ideas that I imagine God and anatomy and some of the other scholars would think about Yahweh, he picks up storm deity elements being adopted from Baal, from
he starts to what's it called? Go against Baal, or what do you call it? Compete with Baal's cult. And so that's why he takes on Baal's roles.
Exactly. He puts balls on his face. Baal, you understand what I'm saying. Thank you so much. Yeah. You already did this one, right? The S-Mill 2. No, I don't think you did.
No, it's another one.
Oh, snap. Okay, we got some we got to go through. We got like 5 more. Yeah. Okay. S-Mills, and thank you, S-Mill. 2 contenders for predecessors to Yahweh are Baal and Seth. There was a Hyksos king of Egypt named Apophis. Oh, no, we did do this.
We did talk about this, yeah. And this is a good point. They worship this god who they called Seth, who was the storm god. They took the dry desert god Seth, and they infused them with a water storm god Baal, and they worship Seth. I wonder if I can find some text of some sources.
You didn't bring up the Seth part. We did cover some of the Yahweh Baal stuff.
They worship Seth. That's another thing. They don't worship Yahweh. So even though their names have Yah in them, they don't talk about worshiping Yahweh ever. Zero attestation. That I do know. There's not a single Hyksos source where they say, my God, Yah, or my God, Yah. But it is interesting that their names have that moon root, that Yah in there. But like I said, their major god is Seth.
Absolutely. Are you looking up?
I'll pull the primary source. Go to the next one, though.
Okay, next one is by Thomas Ball. Thank you so much for the super chat. The question is, what behavior does the god inspire you to do? Worshipping the deity comes out in your behavior. Worshipping the deity is the behavior. Yahweh is war god. Interesting. So that is an interesting question, and I don't think they're asking us a question. They're ultimately trying to make a rhetorical point that ancients who worship the deity is often a reflection of their own behaviors, of what they do themselves. And if they're constantly at war, your God might be reflecting that kind of idea as well. And we do know that Yahweh is a man of war. I think it uses the term ish of war. Then it talks about him not being an ish that tells lies, because humans lie. So he's above humans, but he's a man of war, getting back to our point that God has a body. But yes, Yahweh is obviously, like Baal, a storm god who fights. He fights mythological creatures like Leviathan, or, in other cultures, the same god or the same entity of chaos being Lotan or Yam. Baal's fighting Yam. So you have this mythological warrior against chaos, but then you get that projected on the humans. That's how we get into crap we're into today, where other people groups are identified as chaos, as the enemy, as, what is it called? Amalekite, or not Amalekite, Amalek, and all the other crazy stuff that comes up. So yeah, oftentimes you get that attribute of that deity definitely reflects its worshipers more often than not. I agree with this statement.
Yeah. There's a papyrus that I'm about to show you right now. I think this is it. Oh, here it is right here. So I can show it to you, but I'll redo the translation as I'm showing it to you. This one right here. This is from the Hyksos period, from Apaphis. It's called the Tale of Apaphis. It's so crazy. We keep running into Apaphis. Like it's divine. It's like a divine thing. You and I keep running into Apaphis. It's so weird. And you know what it says here on this text? It says, King Apaphis chose for his lord, his Baal, the god. It literally uses the word Baal. Chose for his Baal the god Seth. He did not worship any other deity in the whole land except Seth. And guess what? It also talks about how the land of Avarice, which is the city that their capital is. Let me see if I can pull up Avarice. Avarice, Hyksos, capital.
Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate that super chat, man.
Here it is.
Appreciate it.
So look at this. So that's the papyrus. It says they only worship the god Seth, no Yahweh, and it calls him a Baal. And then here's where they're located, and it's Avarice, and the city Avarice, which is in the north, happens to be where the temple of Seth is. So I wonder if it's even in here.
And remember when we watched like the 10 Commandments way back when, and the Israelites were located further north in Egypt as well. Like they're overlapping Yahweh and Set.
The two kingdoms, right? It's weird. Yeah. It's almost like they're And then look at this. Pharaohs of the 18th dynasty set up a capital in Thebes, and Avarice was briefly abandoned because that's just the Hyksos explosion, right?
Right.
And it says, just to finish this
off.
off.
Let them do the super duper. The God has spoken.
And let's drop $4.99
wow.
in the chat.
Thank you.
My guys. Thanks.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Definitely. So it even tells us right here, it says, after the Hyksos explosion, which is when Avarice becomes abandoned, areas such as the Temple of Seth and the G6 region, whatever that means, remain continuously occupied. So we know that Seth is being worshipped by the Hyksos. The biggest temple of Seth is in Avaris. That's their capital. Not only that, we have papyri that survives to this day. I'll just show it one more time because it is pretty cool to look at this old 1700 BC surviving manuscript. You know how rare this is? That someone like this survives?
17th. Damn.
Yeah, this is like 1800 BC, something like that.
Only Egypt, man. Only
Egypt. And it survives in the sands there. And it literally says, my name is Epaphus. I'm a Semitic ruler. That's basically what it says. I'm a Hyksos ruler. My name is Epaphus, and I only worship the god Seth, who's my Baal. He's my Baal. Isn't that crazy?
It's pretty wild, yeah.
It's not a monotheistic thing, though. It's a henotheistic thing.
Right.
Notice how he's acknowledging there's other balls out there. I know there's many balls, but I only want one big ball.
I just want these balls.
I want these balls.
Oh, snap. Crayola Conscience? Oh, you got a super chat?
Smill still
Yeah.
got $4.99 super chat.
I'll go back to yours in a
The
second.
Hyksos rulers with Yah in the name was Semitic, not Egyptian.
No.
So was the Yah Semitic or Egyptian?
No, that's the thing. I thought this too. I said, because I pointed this out. I said, look, this was like 2 years ago. I said, Dr. Gad, I'm looking through these Hyksos records and I'm finding all these names, not just from pharaohs, from random people with Yah in their name. What is going on here? And he's like, it's not the Semitic Yah, it's the Egyptian moon. A lot of people have the name Moon. It's a common thing. Selene is a common Greek name. People are named after the moon and the sun. Ra and Yah. So it's just a weird coincidence that you have a Semitic dynasty with Yah theophoric names, but it's based on the moon. I'm to this day, I'm still confused by that. It's weird. But that's the expertise. They know the languages. They're looking at this. They know this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wild, bro.
Who knows? I wonder if there's anyone out there who really contests the other way around. I would love to hear their thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
this is where we're at right here.
Yeah.
Cray, thank you so much. Is the Amphictyonic League functionally similar to the 12 tribes of Israel as sacred political federation or just a religious alliance? Isn't the Amphictyonic League the 12 in Egypt, if I'm not mistaken? Where is that coming from? I faintly remember
that's the one from Herodotus he's talking about.
Yeah, in Egypt, right?
Yeah, it's in Egypt. And it's based on it's an elephantine too.
Yeah, it's 12 leaders, right, that shift. They
in elephantine.
Danny B's dropped $5 super chat. One could say there are different traditions and mythologies, adapting the chthonic and life-giving powers in association with local goods, custom.
Yes,
absolutely. Let me show
absolutely good point. Yeah, what was the one you just on?
Yeah, real quick, just to show.
That's the one you just. Yeah.
Let me show it just so we're on the same page. In archaic Greece and Amphictyon.
I thought you were talking about something else. Okay.
A league of neighbors or Amphictyonic League was an ancient religious association of tribes formed before the rise of Greece. Now, the reason why I was asking this because the super chatter I had is 12 tribes of Israel. This has been commonly noted. You and I have talked to several scholars.
But this is in Egypt too.
Right.
Herodotus talked about 12 tribes in Egypt, 12 city-states. Then you also have, guess what? You have 12 ruling families of the Etruscans. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
I'll show you that right now.
Yeah, because if that's, we can't
it's a ubiquitous thing. It's a ubiquitous thing.
Right.
They purposely do this. They want to look like the stars. They want to look like the heavens. They want to be like the zodiac.
Makes sense.
So I'll show you in a second. But keep going.
Right. No. Go ahead. You want to share your screen?
No, I don't have it yet. I'm pulling it up.
Okay. Yeah. So the 6 Dorian cities of coastal southwest Anatolia and the 12 Ionian cities to their north that formed the Ionian League after the Melic War in the mid-7th century BCE. So there have been scholars who thought that the 12 tribes of Israel is inspired from the Greek 12. 12's a common thing from the Greek world. Isn't it ironic, though, in Greek sources like Herodotus, you mentioned 12? Like, where is that in Egyptian sources. You know what I mean?
just showed you that.
What in
Herodotus.
well, that's what I'm saying. That's Herodotus.
Oh no, that's later though. That's in Herodotus's time period. He talks about that.
Right. That's why
that's an elephantine that's going on.
That's why I was saying that the Greek source is saying 12, but where is the Egyptian source? You know what I'm saying?
I think there might be a source in Egypt about that.
Maybe. Yeah.
But the thing is, there's another source about the 12 Etruscan ruling class, like the 12 families of the Etruscans. I'm trying to find it. I know I've seen it before. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to find it though. But yeah, go ahead. No,
you're good. Okay, you want me to go to the next one then?
Yeah.
While he's looking it up, Craig, thank you so much for that super chat. Jason Kakulo says,
Here we go. I found it. My bad. I just want to on it.
No, I got you.
Look at this. 12 Etruscan League cities. Extend to the Etruscan and the 12 Etruscan League cities. This is well known, dude.
Yeah.
There's VA, Caesarea, Targ, Velk, Veltuna, Felfora. These are 12. There's 12 of them. And this was like a thing. They were 12 really wealthy families that dominated Roman politics for 100, 200 years. It was like, so it was well known. This is not like I didn't just count them out. Like this was a well known thing that there was 12 families there.
Right.
So
thank you. Anyway. Yeah. No, thank you again to Cray for that. Jason Kakulo says, are the Hyksos the reason Seth was demonized as a destroyer in Egypt? Seems too late in time for that to be the case. I wouldn't be surprised because I think the Seth myth goes before that.
Yeah, but I think they chose Seth to be in derision of the other cults. I think they purposely wanted to be, because they were like an opposing, dynasty to the normal dynasties.
Yeah.
So they were seen as outsiders. They worshiped the outsider god. Seth was not the god that most people wanted to worship. He was like a desert deity, an outsider deity. So they the Hyksos purposely adopted this god and confused him with Baal. It wasn't the traditional Seth that they're worshiping. They had their own version of Seth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Jason sent it twice. Sorry, Jason. I think it somehow sent it twice there.
Did it?
Yeah.
A super chat from Alan.
At Alan0465 dropped $5 super chat. Guys, when do we see L associated with tent dwellings? Is it before or after Ugari? I think L was associated with Abu the next about El Kunisa.
Yeah, I'm not, obviously I don't know everything about the Ugaritic text, but I do remember El was like a mountain god in the Ugaritic text.
Right.
So I don't know if they have tents up there. I don't know if it's just the mountain itself. But Ugaritic was pretty urban from what I understand. Pretty much an urban, coastal, not desert. There's actually a lot of lush forest in Syria.
There's the Epic of Kurta. So this is interesting. I love that epic. So, okay, he brings up Kunirsa, El Kunirsa, but in the Kurta myth, which is a fascinating story, I think it parallels Joshua's conquest and the Jericho episode where the walls come tumbling down. The story about Kurta is this king who needs offspring, and he can't get. But I don't know how this associates. So I'm sorry if I'm not answering this question, but I just figure I give background to people about Kurta, because the tent dwelling the theme appears in the Epic of Kurta. In Kurta is this king. He can't have kids, right? What do they all want? You go back to Adapa. You can go back to before Adapa's myth. There's a king who can't have children in ancient Sumer, right? Anyway, they need offspring. So what does he do? He asks El for a favor. And he says, please give me offspring. And El says, okay, go to this place and do as I tell you, and we'll get you, we'll have you offspring. You need to go to this city, and you're going to do as I say. Before he goes to the city, he goes to the temple of Asherah. And he vows to her that if he succeeds and has offspring and she helps him, he will give her gold and silver and all this stuff. So he shouldn't have done that, though. Forewarning, spoiler alert, when you read the story, you'll find out why. So he takes his men, he goes to the city, and El tells him, I want you to circumambulate the city 7 times. Where have we seen that before, Neil? Where they circle the
7
city
everywhere.
But I'm saying
We just saw that in Plutarch.
Men circling the city 7 times.
That's in Plutarch with the birth of Horus.
So
they go around the temple 7 times.
Around the city, and then on the 7th day.
Oh, you're talking about Joshua?
Yes, that's what I was trying to get at.
The reason why I couldn't answer that question is, do you know how many times that's happened in a story where they go around something 7 times in a ritual?
Right. Now, what happens in this, though, is that then the 7th day, the animals make an unbearable screaming and noise. They don't shut up. The king inside's like, well, what do you want? Look, guys, I just want this noise to stop. So he offers his daughter. That was the whole reason he went. Now he has a kid with this daughter, right? Goes back and never pays a visit to Asherah. He owes Asherah gold and silver that he never gives her. She strikes him almost dead. He's on his deathbed. The very child at the beginning of the story of Curta that he asked El for is now going to usurp the throne, similar to what we find in King David's story, where his sons now want to take the throne from him in old age when he promises it to Solomon. Well, he goes to take the throne, and now Curta has to kill the son he asked El in the beginning to help him get, because he didn't pay silver and gold to Asherah. And that goes into another thing about in the story of Jericho, where they go to the prostitute Rahab, and somebody steals when they finally conquer the city. Someone takes gold and silver and buries it under their tent. So there's some overlap between the stories of Curta and the biblical story of Joshua that I wanted to highlight there. Sorry, Alan, for taking a long.
Let me show you something about the 7 thing real quick. You just mentioned 7 times around, and you just mentioned 2 sources, an Ugaritic source and a Hebrew Bible source. Interesting. Look at Plutarch says, on Isis and Osiris, at the winter solstice, at the birthday of Horus, the winter solstice, they lead a cow 7 times around the temple of the sun, and this circumambulation is called the seeking of Osiris, since the goddess in the wintertime yearns for water. Okay, that's the Horus birth ritual, right? Well, guess what? There's more. There's way more, actually. There's in Epiphanius. Where is it? Chrome tab? No, not Chrome tab. I gotta find this real quick. There we go. In Epiphanius, and I had this printed. I had this because I had to get I had the Greek. I have the original Greek, so I actually had to print it out. Here's the original Greek, and it's translated here. If you don't trust my translation, I'll just cite it for you. Epiphanius, Panarion, book 51. You'll find this. Talks about the birth of Christ under Augustus. Everyone who watches me knows this story by now. 13 days after the winter solstice, which is January 6th, the light of day. And then it says 8 days before the calends, 13. There's 2 dates here. December 25th and January 6th are both mentioned in this source, both of them. And he says the Egyptians, they call it Chronia. The Romans call it Saturnalia, and Cacalia is the Alexandrian version. Anyways, what does he say they do? They call it the Epiphany, right? What does he say they do? He says, let me see, where's the 7 times thing? I know it's in here somewhere. Right here. He says they bring in a wooden statue of a guy with the crosses on it, five crosses, and they carry the statue around the temple 7 times with flutes and drums and hymns. Like, this is so ubiquitous. This idea of going around a temple 7 times is completely ubiquitous in all these sources. And then they say the virgin gave birth to Ion. Like, what? What is going on, dude?
I love it, though.
Yeah, it's so cool to see all these parallels.
It is. And I think there's all of this stuff floating in the air. Cognator, thank you so much. The land was divided among the sons of El. So, sons of Kronos? Who has ever heard of such a thing? Surely nothing to do with the R1 sons of Indo-Euro.
Well, I'll say this. I'm not sure what the last part was, but the sons of Kronos and the sons of El are in Sancho Niathan's Philo of Biblos.
Thank you.
fragment that we get. We say it's Porphyry and Eusebius preserve it. So it talks about the sons of El, and the son of El, who's dude, gets sacrificed as his only begotten son. And then after the sacrifice is done, El turns to his Phoenicians and he circumcises himself randomly. Doesn't even say why. He just decides, I'm going to cut this thing off.
Ding dong today.
And then he says, from now on, everyone needs to do this from as the Phoenician. I think he says on the 8th day. I don't know if he says the 8th day or not, but he says,
who the hell thought about cutting their ding dong? I mean,
that's what the story says.
Bro, how many infections killed people in the ancient world? They took a stone, sharpened, and said, all right, cut.
Well, guess what?
What
the Egyptians did it for medical purposes. The Egyptians,
because of the infection.
It's actually true that if you circumcise, you have less. You're healthier down there. Easier to clean.
Yeah, you're easier to clean, but it's like,
so you stay cleaner that way. I'm just saying. I'm not talking about like people should do it. I'm just saying that's a fact. But it's funny how the Egyptians started doing it for medical reasons, not cultic reasons,
right.
And then the Jews take over and make it a religious thing. But they probably adopted it for its medical reasons. They probably just wanted to give it a spiritual. Like, I'm just saying, who knows why they started doing it.
Who knows? I'm thinking about it. Like maybe they had some at the time. They saw that more people who didn't do it. So I don't know.
There might be a fertility rate, or there might be a fertility aspect to it. There might be people who circumcise are more likely to have children for whatever reason. Maybe it makes you more likely to do it. I don't know.
Maybe they believe that. I cannot imagine. That. Yeah, magic. Yeah. Going back to Fraser. Thank you again. Yes, sons of El, Deuteronomy 32. El's the chief daddy. Even Yahweh is subordinate to him there. And thank you again. Bakken says Ezekiel 40 verse 3. Let me see if I can't find it. I think I pulled it up.
43.
Yep, here it is.
You got it?
Yep.
You got it?
When he brought me there, a man was there whose appearance shone like bronze with a linen cord. This is talking about back with the whole cord from hemp. A cord and a measuring reed in his hand, and he was standing in the gateway. I don't know if it was from hemp or if it was just from reed. It may have been just been from reed. Anyway, I think that's what he was getting at. Thank you, Bakken, for the source. Just backing up what you were pointing out. And then Victor Engelman says Genesis 14:6, Hurrians in Edom. Remember Uli Kumi. So then I got this one. Is this Genesis 14:6? Pulling that up. 14:6 says, and the Horites in the hill country of Seir, as far as El Paran on the edges of the wilderness. Then they turned back and came to En Mishpat, that is Kadesh, and subdued all the country of the Amalekites and also the Amorites who lived in Hazazon Tamar. So Hurrians in Edom, Horites in the country of Seir. So this is El Paran. That's the edge of the wilderness. That's what he's talking about. Interesting. So they're all the way down there. I imagine waging war. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and read, but I think a lot of this Genesis stuff is more like etiological myths of nations and trying to like address who they are whenever this author.
The Hittites and the Horians are right next to them. They're right in the same general region. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You got this one, right? Mr.
Lutz dropped $9.99 super chat. Who may have actually received the sacrifices throughout the Old Testament? If historical winking face emoji, whoever it was, I bet they weren't working the fields.
Yeah. I mean, it does talk about the choice meats and all that stuff in like Leviticus and Deuteronomy. The choice meats going to the priest, and there's a burnt offering that goes to Yahweh. So there is ideas like these offerings do go to the priests. They do eat this food. As long as it's not a burnt offering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Burnt offering just gets burnt up. It's done. It goes to Yahweh. And then the other ones, they do eat it. The priests eat it. It goes to the Levites.
Yeah, this gets to God's body, right? The topic we were going into was just the idea that God literally has nostrils and he smells the barbecue. He smells it in his heart and he changes his heart. It's like the best way I describe it is I've worked long days in the heat, came home starving, didn't eat all day, and I smelt the meat cooking in the kitchen and was just like, my whole mood changed with the food.
Yes.
That's how it describes Yahweh. He literally changes his mood. He kills almost all humanity with the massive genocide, and then one barbecue changes his mood, and you realize, oh, I'll never do that shit again. Thank you for this barbecue.
Leviticus 7:31 through 34. Let me see if I can pull this up. Leviticus 7:31. Let me share my screen. It says, what happened to the Septuagint? It went away. All right. 31. Oh, it's down here. Oh, it's because the Septuagint is weird. Yep. Okay. 31.
They're different out of.
And they shall burn upon the fat of the altar, but the breast shall be Aaron's, the Levites. See? Mm-hmm. So they get, you know, the breast, that's one of the best parts of the animal.
That's like the back straps of a deer.
Yeah, they get the priests, Aaron's sons, who are the Levites, they get to eat it. Literally. And then it says the right shoulder shall give to the priest for a heave offering of the sacrifices for you. All right, don't worry, your sacrifices and your sin offerings, give them to me. I'll make sure Yahweh gets your message.
Send me your money too, you know what I mean?
And then it says, among the sons of Aaron, the offereth the blood of the peace offerings, and the fat shall have the right shoulder for his part. So he gets the shoulder. So Aaron's sons gets the shoulder. They get the shoulder. They get the breast, the right shoulder, the left shoulder. What else do they get? For the wave breast and the heave shoulder have I taken of the children of Israel from the offer of the sacrifice of the peace offerings, and have given them unto Aaron the priest and to his sons by a statute forever from among the children of Israel. And then it says, this is the portion of the anointing of Aaron, Krisis, of the anointing of Aaron, Moshiachtot, and the anointings, and out of the offerings of the Lord made by fire. See, that's the talk about the burnt offering. In the day when he presented them into the office. So, you know, anyways, the point I'm making is some of them go to Yahweh, some of them go to they're right here. Look at in the place where they kill the burnt offering, shall they kill the trespasses? Blah blah blah. So some of them go directly to Yahweh, but the good shit goes to Aaron and the Levites, and that's who are the Sadducees, by the way.
And they gave this super chat earlier too. My guys, thanks.
Appreciate that.
You. Same person on your channel. S. Mill says the Hyksos. Thank you, S. Mill. The Hyksos rulers with Yah in the name were Semitic. We did this one. Bakken. Thank you for the super chat. One could say there are different Yah traditions. Didn't we do this one? Yeah, you did this one too. Hold on, we're almost caught up. Okay. Yeah. Jason Kakulo, thank you for the super chat. The Levites had Egyptian surnames, so may have gotten moon worship from them.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and this I thought of this in my head, like this is speculation, that you got these Shasu nomads out in the desert who they're out in the desert in Sinai region where maybe they start worshiping the moon for whatever reason. So they're worshiping Yah. And then once the Egyptians find out about these Shasus worshiping Yah, they want to separate their Yah from their moon. So they write it with different letters. It's spelled different in hieroglyphs. I mean, that sounds like a very plausible way that you can get Yah from the moon. I was just saying, and it's speculative, but it's not that crazy of a series of events.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
But
Jason,
that's my other theory. My main theory is that it got imported from the north. So I have two. I'm basically looking at both as both possibilities.
Gotcha. Thank you for that, Jason. Look, back to the topic here, Neal, and I smell, I kid you not, a barbecue cooking in my kitchen right now.
Really?
Yeah, like Ryan's cooking.
Might stop over them.
I could find out if we got enough.
Yeah.
Are you hungry? You hungry?
Actually, I don't know, not really, but maybe if you have extra, maybe.
Let me go see.
If you want to, I'm going to take.
Real quick, let me go see.
Take care of the supers.
Take care of the supers. I'll be right back.
All right, let's see who's in the chat. The moon travels the zodiac each month. Its phases determine the religious holidays based on the eclipses. Yeah. If you look at these calendars, these ancient, whether it's the Attic calendar of the Greeks or the Babylonian calendar, the lunar solar calendar, every month had its own festival dedicated to certain gods. And, you know, this is how they set up their years. They would have like these intercalary days at the end of the year, because usually a 12-month calendar is not going to give you 365. It's going to fall short. You usually have an extra 13th month. That 13th month could be 5 days. It could be 12 days. How many days it takes for you to finish that off?
Got another super.
Still dropped $2 super chat. Is it really likely one ruler got Jacob from Egypt?
Is it likely one ruler got Jacob from Egypt? I'm not. What do you mean?
Name Jacob earlier. So
Yeah. We Jacob Har. That's the name. Now the theory is that his name is just the moon, and it just happens to be Jacob of the Jacob from later is like a different name or something. Which I even have a problem with that. I even think to myself, really, there's two Jacobs in history that are both Semitic, and they're not the same name. They don't have the same etymology. That's literally what Gad told me. He says, yes, it sounds crazy. They have different etymologies. One of them is related to the moon. The other one's related to Yahweh. This is why I'm so interested in the moon, the lunar theory. But is it really likely one ruler got Jacob from Egypt? I'm not. Do you understand the question? I don't understand the question.
I don't want to butcher S. Mill's point. I wonder if they're going back to the fact that you brought up that Jacob thing from the Egyptian list.
No, I know. I'm saying, but like, what is the question though?
I imagine it's the idea that the Jacob in our Bible. I don't know. If that has any connection.
Is it likely one ruler got Jacob? I don't understand what they're saying. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just.
It's a short.
I'm confused on the question because here's the Jacob from Egypt, Jacob Har, or Yakbal is one of his names. But from what I've been told from people who know Egyptian language and Hebrew, is that the names, the way Yah is spelled, is not the same as Yah in the Shasu description I talk about Yahweh. This one is referring to the moon Yah. So it's a lunar epithet. It just happens to sound like Jacob. And trust me, as an amateur, I'm weird. I go, really? Are they really? But I don't fight. I don't go around trying to fight the consensus. I'm just saying, I understand what they're saying, but it is a little odd that you have another guy named Jacob and he's a Semitic ruler.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it is a little odd. I think it's fair to point at this and say, what if there's a connection? I think it's fair.
That's what S. Mill's trying to get at by the short.
Yeah.
They only have so much to say in a
That's true. That's true. That's true.
So
I just didn't understand.
Yeah, I think they're trying to connect them. I don't know.
By the way, S. Mill, I'm looking at the chat for you. Oh, here we go. Egyptian Jacob and Canaanite biblical.
Danny B's dropped $2 super chat. Isn't Shiva a lunar deity? Savior.
Shiva is not a moon god, but the moon is very. The lunar aspects are part of Shiva's. Shiva's a huge central god. Might even be the supreme god. Some Hindus will say Shiva is the supreme god. So to call Shiva a moon god or lunar deity, you're not getting at what Shiva is. But Shiva and Shiva's depictions, if you look at Shiva, like if you look at how Shiva's depicted, oftentimes there's a crescent moon in Shiva's head, on Shiva's head. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, so first picture I looked up right off the bat. Watch this. You go to Shiva, you can see the crescent moon right there. But that doesn't mean Shiva is a moon god. It just means Shiva's depicted with the moon because Shiva's a god of cycles and days and months and all this stuff. But Shiva's way more than a moon god. You can't just say Shiva. Shiva's the supreme being in Shaivism. It's one of the main three gods, the principal deities of Hinduism itself. It's Supreme Lord. I mean, it's like you might as well just say this is the Yahweh of Hinduism. You know what I mean? Or
Absolutely.
L or something.
Absolutely. By the way, she said, yeah, if you want, it's she's got some chicken. What is it? Chicken. What do you call that? Creamy kind of pasta with chicken? It's
creamy kind of pasta with chicken.
You know what I'm talking about? Alfredo. That's right.
Chicken Alfredo? Oh,
chicken
yeah.
Alfredo.
Yeah.
So if you're down, let's try to wrap things up then.
Okay. S. Mill did come in with another Let me just see if there's any
That's
more.
what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of get what are you saying? Is it more likely that they borrowed from the Egyptian, or that it's not the same? An expert would say it's more likely that the names are coincidences. They're not connected.
Right.
I'm just trying to keep the audience educated on what the experts are saying. I'm not trying to be. It is. I think, as an amateur, as someone who doesn't know the languages, I think it's fair to look at these two names and go, is there a connection here? What do we know? Right? I'm just saying. I'm not. But from what I know, from what I've been told, it is just one of them has to do with the moon, and the other one has to do with Yahweh.
Absolutely. And then we got one more super chat here. Aiden. Thank you so much, Aiden, for that super chat. They say, I love your interviews and they're good for sleep. Thank you.
Awesome.
I have a lot of people who say that the documentaries you and I do help them. They go to sleep listening to them. They help them. Yeah.
Put something on, some noise for the background. I like that.
Exactly. I do it too.
I can't sleep in quiet. I have to have noise. Like not loud noise or banging. Like I have to have continuous television noise on to sleep with.
Exactly.
Yeah. I wonder if that's a modern thing. Because ancient people didn't have TVs and music playing.
They had crickets.
You can hear the person shitting next door. You know what I mean?
Oh, we got another S-Mill.
There we go. S-Mill's back. So.
At Smill still dropped $5 super chat. Semitic Hyksos Jacob Baal. Biblical Jacob the Israelite. But one is Egyptian and one is Canaanite and unrelated?
Yes.
Seems too coincidental.
I agree. It does seem coincidental.
Real quick, because this point, they're saying they're Egyptian. They're Hyksos Egyptian, correct?
I know.
So they're actually Semites that are actually.
Yeah, but the name that they're adopting in the hieroglyphics is from the moon. It's an Egyptian word.
Right. I'm just saying
they're not. It's not the theophoric element of Yahweh in Jacob's name. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is why it's so tempting to make a connection, because these are Semitic rulers. You want to go, it's got to be Yahweh. This has to be the root.
Jacob, or
it has to be the root. Yeah, it has to be the origins of Jacob's name, right? This has to be it. But scholars will say, no, actually, this name sounds like Jacob. It looks like Jacob. I don't blame you for even seeing that, but it just happened. This is the root for Yah. I'll show you right now. Yah moon.
Mm-hmm.
This is the name of this god right here, Yah, the moon god. It's not Yahweh.
Right.
It just happens to be a Semitic king whose name has this element in it, and it's not Yahweh. It's very fascinating. I think it's a really interesting topic.
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Really interesting. We got another one, I think. Yep. Oh, hold on. You got two more. Gaddis in the house says, last thing on Amun, said to influence pneuma word.
Yeah, the pneuma is the breath or the soul, the breath.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the spirit. It means like spirit or breath.
Yeah, because
Amun creates the Aeneid. It's in this Egyptian myth of Amun. He creates the Aeneid through his breath, through his spirit. So there is that. That is very true.
Invisible creative force that is breath, like you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the Heliopolis. Oh no, not the Heliopolis. It's the Heliopolis is the one for Atum, and then Memphis is Ptah, and then Thebes. There's 4 different creation myths. There's Hermopolis creation myth, and then there's the Heliopolis creation myth, which is the god Atum Ra, and then there's the Memphis creation myth, which is Ptah, and then there's Thebes creation myth, which is Amun, and then there's another one. There's an elephantine creation story, which is Khnum is the creator, and he's just like Amun. But anyways, the point is, in the Theban creation story, Amun creates the 8 gods, the Agduad, and they become the Aeneid, and he creates them through his breath, through his mouth. He speaks them into existence.
Absolutely. Okay, we got Farsight super chatted too. So let me hit that one here. Is it possible that they preserved the Hyksos, Jacob, or Jacob name in stories, which then inspired the later name?
Possible. Everything's possible.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. You and I are like, huh?
Yeah, I mean, they could have, because they know who Epaphras is, Josephus. They all know these people. There's the records do come down. They know who the Hyksos rulers are, and they know that they were related to them somehow. They know this. So the idea that they come across this Jacob figure, and they kind of like remake this character into Jacob, I wouldn't say it's impossible. That's for sure.
Yeah,
it sounds like it could have happened. Who knows? We just don't have any evidence for it. We just don't. It's just speculation, you know.
Right. Another one here, Cognator. Thank you so much. Roman report of Judea religion. They worshipped Pneuma of Calus. Calus. Roman.
Yeah, that's the god. Calus is the Latin god for Uranus. I mean, I know they have their own Uranus version, but that's a name from Greek. Uranus is a Greek word. Calus is the Latin version for the heavens and sky. It's sort of like how you have Athena and Minerva, but Athena also shows up in Latin spelled that name, Athena. But Minerva is the Latin version. Well, that's what Calus is. Calus is like the Uranus of Latin. I'll pull it up real quick.
Pull it up. Yeah, pull it up.
Yeah. Pull it up. Calus, primordial god of the sky, heaven. It's Uranus, you know. Look, it says right there, Greek Calus indicates the Roman counterpart of the Greek god. And look, you can see Uranus is you already have a Greek version or a Latin version of the name, but this is the official. Like Minerva is the official. Terra instead of Gaia is the official Latin word for Earth, not Gaia. Like they have their own names in their own languages. Jupiter instead of Zeus, right? But this is what Calus is Uranus. That makes sense. Mars instead of Ares, that type of thing. Saturn instead of Kronos. That's what's going on here.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of Calus, so.
Calus was a big deal. Calus is huge in the Mithraic religion. Oh, and the Hadrian's, I think it's Hadrian's breastplate. You ever seen that before?
No.
Hadrian, or is it Trajan's breastplate? Or no, I'm talking about Augustus's breastplate.
That right? I know about. The breastplate.
Augustus's breastplate. Okay. So that's the one I wanted to show you. This one. Wait, what is it called, a breastplate?
I don't think it is. I thought it's a shield that has all of it on there.
Yeah, it's called. Well, anyway, I found it. I can just pull it up real quick. Calus is the god that's on top of it. You should know that it's not Uranus. It's Calus. So, why can't I find it now? Augustus's breastplate. Let me see. Is there another super chat?
I think so. Yes, you did. You want me to pop it up? Yep,
yeah.
There you go.
That's Alpha Lima Tango dropped $5.
Here we go. I found it.
You need to interview anthropology program Manish for the Arabic origins of the Hebrew Bible, an ethno-historical study.
Interesting.
Was there an echo there?
Yes, there was.
It was going away, and I thought I fixed it, but now it came back. In an interview, Dana Reynolds Martin, the author of the African Arabic Origins of the Hebrew Bible. I'm definitely going to look into that. That sounds like a good idea. It sounds pretty damn good. I'm just saying. I'll definitely look into that. That's a good idea. Sure. I think. Well, are you saying you want to close out soon?
Yeah. Ryan said you could come over and eat.
Okay. Look at this. You see this?
Yes.
That's Calus right there.
Oh, and so Calus he's Uranus. He's
he's the god of the heavens in Latin. And traditional Roman religion, traditional, not the Hellenistic. Like if you go back to the Roman Republic and you pull Cato aside. Cato was a staunch conservative anti-Hellenizer. He was not a fan. He hated the Greeks. He hated the Carthaginians. He hated the Celts. He just loved his Latins. He loved it. I don't even think he was fond of the Etruscans, but he might have been. But anyways, if you would have pulled him aside and you would have said, what are your thoughts on Uranus? Uranus. It's Calus, bitch. It's Calus. Like he would say, that's the traditional way to say heaven. Calus. So
you and the K instead of Salus, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the K.
Yeah, and you can see that's I think that's Diana on her Diana at the moon, and I think you have Lucifer carrying the light right there, Latin god. And then I think you have, and this is Terra. No, Terra down here, the earth goddess. She's down below, and the heaven is above. Her earth is below. And I'm pretty sure what else is going on here. Let me see if I can zoom in soon. And then I think you have that. Oh, this, you know what this is? This is Augustus. This is Augustus getting the standard back, I think, from
Germanic.
No,
tribe?
from the Parthians.
Okay.
Because the Parthians killed what's his name? Crassus, the richest. He's like the Elon Musk of the Roman Republic. Imagine Elon Musk going to Iran right now, getting captured, and then them pouring molten gold down his face and killing him.
Shit.
That's what happened in ancient Rome. The richest, the Elon Musk of the Roman Republic got captured by the Parthians, the Iranians, and was murdered. So then Augustus, 20, 30 years later, went and fought. I don't know if he fought them or whatever, but apparently this is some scholars even doubt this even happened. Apparently they were like, oh, you are the king of the world here. The standards that we stole from Crassus, we're giving them back to you now. We're bowing to you. That's the story. And that's what's on his breastplate here.
Damn.
So
that's wild, bro.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. We got one more here. Cray, thank you so much for the super chat. I know I might be off for thinking this way. Somehow Revelation 3:14 gets me thinking about Amun-Ra every time. What's your take on that?
Revelation 3:14.
Yeah, let me pull that.
You want to pull it up?
Yeah, I can. I have 3. Here we go. All right, sharing. Oh, there it is. Okay. 14. And the angel of the church in Laodicea writes the words of the Amen.
Why don't we go to Cross Bible?
I was just gonna say, yeah, share your screen.
So we could actually hold on.
The words of Amen or Amen is what I imagine they think of. And true words.
Okay, so let me see. Revelation
3:14.
Revelation 3. And then let me share my screen for right now. So 3:14.
Yep.
So first of all, let me get rid of this KJV crap. NASB. That's my preferred. 13. The one. Wait, is it verse 13 or 14? To the church and the angel of Laodicea, the Amen. So it says. Let's see. It says, Kai to angeloi tes Laodicea, Ecclesias, the church, Graphone, right. It says, Tade lege ho Amen. It does say the Amen. That's the ho. The Amen.
That's wow.
So that's a very weird thing to write. The Amen. But that's not Amon, though. In Greek, Amon is spelled alpha, mu, and then omega. And this is a different word.
You could see why they
It's weird. It's weird that they say it, the Amen. That's a weird thing to say. But anyways, it says the martyr, or which means witness, by the way. That's not this word martyr doesn't mean he got killed. It means he's a witness, which is correct. This is why I like the NASB. It correctly translates this as witness. Opiste, the faith, and the elethenos, the truth. The ruler arche, tiseos, of God. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
The origin of creation. Origin. Arche could be origin. I said ruler, but it could be ruler or origin.
I remember hearing this a while back from like a lot of the astrotheology kind of avenues where people were like, it says Amen, that's Amen, or sun is sun, like the sun in the sky, all that kind of stuff that you see.
You want to know something funny about that before we close out real quick? Just on this topic, there is some nuance there. On Isis and Osiris, I can pull this up in 2 seconds. On Isis and Osiris, there is believe it or not. So if I do the word Amen, wait, I think it's Amon. Let me see. Here we go, right here. Okay, so this is in the 1st century, And Plutarch says this: moreover, the people believe that Amun is the name given to Zeus in the land of the Egyptians, a name which we, with a slight alteration, pronounce Amon. Okay, so this is why I just said the word Amon right here. It's not the same spelling as Amen, right? However, we got a super chat real quick.
Yep, we got a couple.
Oh, a couple of them? Holy shit!
I got one. You got one.
Oh, Constellation Pegasus is in the house now.
Constellation.
$1.99 super chat. Have you looked at Megillah 12a?
Megillah 12a. What is that again? Megillah 12a. Let me see. What about it? I mean, what about it? I can't just 70 years, Darius. Is that what you're talking about? The 70 years thing? Anyways, but let me just go back to this real quick. Amen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pronounce Amen. But Benito, listen to this. Manetho, you all know who Manetho is.
Yeah.
He thinks the meaning of Amun is concealed or concealment. And let me just see, the words he used is, it's not even in Greek, it's in Egyptian. Lies in the word, Hecataeus of Abdera, our favorite guy, right? Hecataeus of Abdera. He's the first person, by the way, to mention Abraham, Moses, and the Torah in all of history. This is the first person to ever talk about them outside of the Bible. What does he say, according to Plutarch? He says that the Egyptians use this expression one to another whenever they call to anyone. For the word is a form of address. Now that's interesting. When they therefore address the supreme God, whom they believe to be the same as the universe, cosmos, as if he were invisible and concealed, and implore him to make himself visible and manifest to them, they use the word Amun, so great that when circumspection of the Egyptians and their wisdom touching. So, okay, what just happened there? According to Hecataeus of Abdera, the word Amen, by the way, just so you guys know, there's no vowels in Egyptian or Hebrew. It's A-M-N, 3 letters, A-M-N, both exactly the same. Amen, Amon. Amen, Amon. So exactly the same. Hecataeus of Abdera, who's the first person to write about Israel and Yahweh and Moses and all this stuff, he thinks that the word Amen is a form of address. That means you call out to the supreme God and you say Amen. That's what he's saying. So there is a theory that Amen and Amun are connected somehow through this theory by Hecataeus of Abdera. So I'm just pointing out there is some nuance there.
Yeah, so you could see why someone's mind would go there. The next one is Gaddis says, thank you, Gaddis. Only remarkable thing for me equals 2 breaths idea. Yahweh. Because it would at least ground a deity in reference to a metaphysical breath and physical breath idea. Again, just to give you what Nisa Mamzalog said, and I thought it was interesting, is that when a metallurgy craftsman is doing their craft work, they breathe and blow into the fire. The breath is giving into the deity and all of that. There's some like sacred activity happening with the metallurgy from a craftsman. If you take the metallurgical view about Yahweh, that the melting of the metals is breathing into the fire. And so he thinks there's something to go on. There's some deep stuff that goes on, like Mircea Eliade, well-known mythologist and scholar. He highlights this stuff too. So Gaddis, you might be touching on something. You don't realize that it might be metallurgical. Who knows? Again, Constellation says Megillah 12a, and then followed with a comment to just say they're talking about the Cyrus material. So it's an argument.
I've read this before, and because the reason why I was interested in it is because it talks about the 70 years thing. So it talks about Megillah 12. It says 70 years should be counted from the Babylonian exile, that he would accomplish the desolations of Jerusalem for 70 years. 70 years are calculated from the destruction of Jerusalem. And the reason why I was looking at this, because I was like, it is interesting that Jesus' birth is placed right around 70 years before the temple is destroyed. And it was sort of a mythicist angle I was going down, trying to look at, is it possible that this all was, you know what I mean? I'm just looking at it. That there's something I'm looking at, 70 years thing. What do you think about that?
honestly, it wouldn't shock me. I mean, there's a lot of 70 years. Jeremiah prophesied 70 years until his fulfillment. Of course, the 40, it became 490 because it failed. Then you also have Honi. Did you know Honi the circle jar fell asleep for 70 years? And
really?
Yeah, in the story, he meets this man who's planting this tree. And he goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm not planting it for me. I'm planting it for my children so that they can have food in the future." And somehow he sits and goes to sleep for 70 years. When he wakes up, he sees the man's children with the tree and stuff. There's a lot of interesting things with 72. I mean, there's 70 disciples, 72 disciples, depends on how you look at it. There's all sorts of stuff to dig into there.
Yeah, he just pointed out again.
They can't agree. It seems like rabbis.
$2.99 super chat. They can't agree with each other. Frustrating to read.
So
Jeremiah says, when 70 years are fulfilled, I will punish the king of Babylon and his nation, the land of the Babylon. Now, what's interesting about the 70-year theory is after 70 years, it's the Jews who get punished after Jesus, but it's after his birth though, so it's a little clunky. It's not really. It's hard to go with this. This is something people have pointed out to me. The 70 years theory. It's interesting because you do have King David, who reigns for 40 years.
Right.
He becomes king at age 30. Jesus starts his ministry at age 30. Right. So and guess how long David lived for? Watch this. Watch this. This is going to blow your mind. Where's King David? Oh, here we go. That's weird that he was the fourth thing down. So King David lived for. He doesn't have his years that he lived for on here. Well, that's bullshit. Anyways, he lived for 70 years. I wanted to show it to you. It would have been cooler. He lived exactly 70 years. Did you know that?
No,
look at it right here.
I didn't.
He dies at age 70.
I know he ruled for 40, right?
He rules for 40. So this is what's weird. This is what's so weird about him and Jesus mirror each other. He's born. At age 30, he becomes king. At age 70, which is 40 years later, he dies. Jesus, at age 30, gets baptized and crucified. All that stuff happens in a 3-year span. And then 40 years later, the temple of Jerusalem is destroyed. Almost like David was with you and you lost him. And if you would have held on to David, you would have kept the temple. Like it's like a FU to the Jews. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what the theory is by some of these mythicists. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Okay, hold on. You got the constellation one. I don't want to leave anybody hanging here. We already dealt with Gaddis. Again, thanks, Gaddis, for that. Constellation gave the Megillah one. And then, Kitty, thank you so much for the super chat. It would be wonderful if you had Dr. Carlo Linescu back. She wrote a new book about Artemis of Ephesus. You know, I was going to mention this because someone in the chat.
Yeah, I got to get her back on.
Someone was really pissed off in the chat earlier when I named 3 things, and they clearly didn't hear me mention one of them, I guess, because they were trying to say, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Do you not read? They were saying these are bee eggs. Okay, these are bees.
Eggs.
I said eggs, but
we know that's what we're saying.
Like,
eggs.
Yeah, so there's 3 different ways people say these.
And we don't know that for sure, by the way. It's one of the leading theories in scholarship that these are bee eggs.
Right.
It's not like this doesn't come with a manual that we can read. It's still pretty much open for debate on what this is like what we're looking at.
Yeah. Now,
you know what I mean? There's no primary sources that explain this.
She's awesome. I'm friends with her. I would love to have her back. Artemis of Ephesus, bee eggs, not boobs. And so that's an Instagram.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's right. I think that makes the most sense.
I think she makes a really good case. But again, I just wanted to throw out that there are different academics who think there might be other things going on here. So anyway, thank you, Kitty. I would love to have her back. She is wonderful. A lot of energy, bright mind.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I've had her on a couple times too.
Absolutely. So if you're watching for MythVision, let me drop this this here. If you're watching for MythVision, be sure to subscribe to Neal, Gnostic Informant. And Neal, you want to come eat some food?
I think I might come by, actually. I think that's a good idea.
Call me when we're off.
Something to do.
Let me know.
Come get some chicken.
Come get some of that chicken.
Free chicken.
It's kosher chicken.
Is it kosher? Okay, good.
No,
Is it the breast? Is that what?
It's
Is that what it says?
breast. It's the bee. It's the bee egg part of.
You know, I'm Aaron. I'm Aaron. So you better make sure I get that breast. And you can keep all the other parts. I want that breast.
You can have the breast. You can have the breast. No, but seriously, I appreciate you, man. This has been a blast. We didn't even get into all. There's so much more. I mean, God walking with Adam in the garden. He's walking. It's so tangible. In Exodus, they see him. Sees his ass. I mean, his back parts. But
his back part. What does that even mean? Right?
Well,
it's a big question.
Yeah, there's people who do think it's his butt. He's showing him his ass, his back part, not his back, like his upper back, but like he gets to moon Moses. There are experts who think that he's mooning Moses. I kid you not.
Yeah, if I show you my face, you'll die. I'm that hot.
I'll show you my ass, but you can't see my face.
Yeah, if I show you my D, you'll just die from it.
That's wild. That's wild. So wild. This was fun, man. We got to do these more.
Yeah, man. Let's do one in a couple days or something.
Yep. Let's do it. Anything else?
No, man. That's cool. That's it for me.
By the way, there's like 1,340 people, 70 people. I don't even know. It's like a good amount of people watching and all around. Hit the like button on YouTube. If you're watching from Twitter, come over to YouTube. Help us out. You hit the like button. Help us grow what we're doing here. Anything else?
Let's close it out, man.
Let's close it out then. All right. Well, you have just attained true gnosis. And we are MythVision. Thank you. You want to hit that end?
Do I have to hit it?
I can do it. You want me to do it?
Son, do you want to know what the truth is? After this, there's no turning back. You take the blue pill and you wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to. You take the red pill and you stay in Wonderland. And I show you just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth. Nothing more.